See, it ain't nothing wrong with dreaming. Boy, don't get me. Cause every time I see everything, let me know just how strong it is, baby. But emotions just don't lie. Yeah, I know I'm a lot, but not enough to divide the pie. What's good? Oh. Knew something felt off. Oh, I knew something was off. Why is Joe Rogan in the cult of man? Interesting. Joe Rogan is definitely in the cult. Yeah. What they do? Hey from San Diego. Hey man, what's good? We in them beach towns. We in those beach towns. What's good, YouTubes? Welcome. Yeah. What happened to the Discord? I was just on the Discord. What's wrong with it? We've been talking on there all day. What we do? Oh, maybe I don't know. Yeah. Just apply back and go through the just post your just go in there, do the link, the same thing in my bio or whatever. Do the same thing. We'll let you back in. You just got to verify yourself. You probably the verification didn't happen. So yeah, that's it. Soon as you get verified, you back in that thing like you never left. Like you never left. What up? Welcome everybody. I have to oh, hold on. Let's do that. All right. The link expires, you have to verify or you get kicked. Yeah, exactly. The link is broken. Nah, you gotta copy and paste it, right? Is that right, you guys? People were saying you gotta copy and paste it. Thank you, Melanie. Nice to see you too. You just gotta copy and paste it. Yeah. I am feeling better. I'm excited. To do this live. I love doing the Cult of Man lives. It's probably my top. It's my top 2-3 things to talk about. Is the cult. I said on my iPhone. Okay, maybe that's why it worked. Yeah, no worries. Let me know. Hit me in the DMs, hot person. If it doesn't work, and we'll try to figure something else out. I might have to send you a direct link or something like that. But anyways, here we are. We meet here again. We meet at the cult. Here we are, right back at the cult. Yeah. I don't know what this algorithm be. I don't know how this algorithm be algorithm. So I don't know how these bots be botting. So I gotta I be changing up the words. What's good, Bula?
What's up? How's my background noise? Is it fine?
Yeah, it's okay.
Let's get the likes up, you guys. Let's get the shares out. Poor public got bananered, and I feel so empathetic to him. So let's just get the likes up. Let's get the shares out. Let's get like 100 shares out in like 30 minutes. I know you guys can do it. Okay? Thank you. Also, do it one by one. If you do it one by one, then the shares go up instead of doing like 15 at a time. So that helps. And if you don't have anyone to share to, you can share it to me. Thank you. All right.
Appreciate you, bro. What's good? What's good, CJ? You say you got something? I got some for it. What you got, brother? Um, Let me know. Anyways, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, man. Let's get on. Let's start talking about this. So, what is the basis thoughts for this cult of man? It's just a fancy way of it's just a fancy way of describing the patriarchy, but it's a different way of looking at it as opposed to looking at it like it. I like to call it I like to talk about the code because it speaks to the indoctrination, and that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the indoctrination. Um, that's where I'm at with it. I like to focus on the indoctrination because which is pretty much a lot of what my platform is about the talking about like the red pill talking points, like the most diabolical lies told by the red pill or by the cult of man would be men are the protectors, women are naturally submissive, men built the world, men are natural leaders, women can't raise men. You guys come up with, give me drop them in the chat. What are some of the other ones, right? Drop it in the chat. Let me know. What are some of the other diabolical lies? And I did it intentionally because the list for me, I got 1,000 diabolical lies that I've heard men tell. But I'm curious to know what are some of the diabolical lies that men tell. I'm curious, but that's the part that I wanted to focus on is the indoctrination. I just wanted to say, hold on. Let me read this super chat. I appreciate you for the super chat, Francis. Francis said, I just want to say hi and keep doing what you do in public. Make sure you take time for yourself because I know these special men be mentally draining. You ain't never lied. Francis ain't told a lie in her life apparently because she ain't that the truth. Now I ain't gonna even hold you. What's more draining is TikTok banning me. That drains me more than anything. I am a extrovert. I am also socially awkward at times, but I am an extrovert, and I thrive off of interactions with people. So this actually, like art, fighting with the boys actually like gives me like juice. Like I be juiced up off of it. So, yeah. So here we are. Men are the prize. Look at that. That's a good one. Men are the prize. Um, Man, I got a bunch of them. It's not all men. Um, sing. What is it? You guys glorify single mothers. You know, things of that nature. You know what it is. OF is not my circle. Woo, that's the one. Not my circle. Men raise better sons and daughters. No, only a man can raise a boy. Did I put that up there? Women can't raise men. Okay, same thing. What's the solution? I'm gonna take care of you. Damn, that's a sheesh. Accept the care is emotional abuse. Being sexually promiscuous is men's right and men's nature. Yep. Social media has changed when woo. Hold on, we gonna pin that one, Allie. I like that one. Blaming everything on social media. That's another one. Oh, I can't pin on this one. Damn. Yeah, blaming everything on social media, acting like social media is the reason why. The reason for the season right now, when we all know that the system has been in place for a long time, and it's been an issue for men, women, and children for as long as it has been around. So yeah. Oh yeah, hold on, I'm gonna drop you, Bula. I didn't even know Bula was up here. I thought she was a picture for a minute. Thanks, Bula. turn on the settings. No, it's on right now. It's just on social media. Women would not survive if all the men disappeared. Yep. Women need men. Man, the list goes on and on and on, right? The list goes on and on and on. The 666 lie. Yep. Women want 6 feet, 6 feet, 6 figures in a 6-pack. Which, I mean, okay. Who doesn't, right? Whatever the equivalent of that is for a man, men want that too, right? It doesn't, who cares, right? It doesn't mean that women are unaliving on that hill. They're not holding every man to that standard. They're not like, I won't date a man unless he meets this criteria. They're not running around upset because their man is 5'9" and slightly overweight. You know what I mean? Like, that's not, those are two completely different things, you know? Preferring something and objectifying people are completely different things. Yeah, completely different. A list of grandiose delusions. My woman should be my peace. Absolutely. Men are polygamous and women are hypergamous. Two big lies. I mean, I guess there's some hypergamous people and there's some polyamorous people. Where are we at? Oh, hold on. I guess there's some hypergamous people and there's some polyamorous. There we go. What's going on, Tyler? Tyler, are you there? You gotta unmute. Oh, that was weird. Biggest lie, our grandmothers were happy. Yep. Yes, I'm on YouTube. I'm on the YouTubes right now. I'm hypergamous. Love it. I don't have a problem with hypergamy. I just think that it's funny that they say all women are hypergamous or women are hypergamous by nature, and I disagree with that. I think that they should stop using the word nature in general. I don't think they know what the word nature means. Yeah, but marriage is a flex. Yeah. So all of these things, right? You guys could keep going throughout the chat. I would love it throughout the live. What? 19. Hold on, I missed that one. What was that one? I don't know. Saw something about 19. Men cheating is okay, but women cheating is different. Yep. Women get ran through. Men, what that dude say? Men make 304s, women are 304s or something like that. Women hit the wall at a certain age. All of these things that we hear this is the indoctrination of the cult of man. And we talk about it every day. We just usually do it. I do it brick by brick, as Franklin Saint would say. I do it brick by brick. Women body count matter. Yep. But today I just kind of wanted to talk about it like from a holistic standpoint, right? Just talking about how the cult affects us and how they weaponize, the things that they're weaponizing against women and even men, and they distort intentionally. They intentionally distort words and make them mean things that they don't mean. You know what I'm saying? Like they call everybody a simp and they call everybody a panderer and they call everybody, what do they call women? What are the words that they call women? I know those words they call any man. They call women 304s, which 304 is a specific thing. Like I've said before, 304 is a job. It's not a lifestyle. They confuse 304s with a lifestyle. It's not a lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not a lifestyle. It's a profession. Feminism is only for women and it's bad. Yep. Feminism has caused all of these issues is another one they like to say. Right? It goes both ways, all of that stuff. There are tons of lies that is constantly being told. Feminism is misandry. Emotional versus physical cheating. Yep. Feminism is the hatred of men. Yeah, that's a big one that they tell. Let's talk about that one. Let's talk about that one. That one's important. That one's important. I want to talk about that one for a second. Feminism is the hatred of men. Once again, so they take words that actually have definitions that we all can look up, right? They take the word, they distort it, and they turn it into something else so that they can weaponize it against the very people who identify as such. So if you identify as a feminist, it's a problem for them because they've distorted the word. But when you say, hey, will you guys just go look up the actual definition of the word? Just look it up. If it says something, if it says what you're implying, then I'll start to use it in that way too. Right? Then then they're like those people on that movie Bird Box, and it takes them, you got to twist their freaking arm to get them to go to look something up. And of course, CJ, you have to twist their arm to get them to look something up, and then when they do, they still don't accept it. What up, CJ?
Hello?
Yes.
I'm gonna drop down as soon as I get done saying this because, okay. Biggest, fattest lie, honestly, that came to my mind
Mm-hmm.
that men have told about women in general or just about like anything?
Well, I mean more. I'm talking about the lies that men tell that to the lies that they tell to subjugate, children and women and men and things of that nature.
Oh, biggest lie? Probably that women came from a damn man's rib because look what you, because I feel
That's
like they
crazy.
came
I mean,
simply just to put women under men because what?
yeah, that's crazy.
That's it though. Bye.
All right, CJ. Yeah, they do that, and I don't know that. I mean, but they'll say it's not to put women down; it's to make women. It's to show that we're like women are our on our side or something like that. I've heard men try to explain it that way, like like we're equals because you're made from our rib or something. Oh, like, oh, this is crazy. But yeah, so that's more the original lie. That's more what I'm trying to get to. Black women are masculine. Yep. Yeah, black women are masculine. Everything that is negative is deemed to be feminine. Like jealousy is feminine. Um, being quick to anger, being irrational is feminine. Men are more logical. Boys will be boys. Like there are tons of lies that we have to tell as men. Um, to convince other men. Now, my question is, if these things are true, then why do so many men have to invest so much time, effort, and energy in convincing us that these things are true? Right? Like that's the thing that I don't understand. Um, because for an example, and we've all talked about this, but like if men were the natural leaders, then why aren't we good at leading? If women were made to follow, then why don't women follow easily? If it's in our nature, if you guys are going to tell me it's in our nature, then why don't we do the things? Why don't they come to us more easily? Right? Shouldn't it be easy for women to follow men? Shouldn't it be easy for men to lead? Shouldn't it be like if it's natural, but it's hard for men to lead? And when I say lead, when I say it's hard for men to lead, it's hard for men to lead effectively. It's hard for men to lead without consequences involved. Like, here's what I'm saying. If you put men in a position, if you put people in a position and to complete a task, and there are no consequences other than, like you're gonna have a harder time completing the task. Or you may not complete the task, depending on the leadership. Um, but you add, men and women together. Like men wouldn't like naturally take over and be leaders. You know what I mean? Like that wouldn't happen. Like they may start talking a lot, they may start yelling, like whatever, but like without the fear of repercussions, some negative repercussions, um, most people aren't really following men like that. You know, the only reason why we as a society follow men is because there are repercussions to not following certain men, right? And since most men are in positions of power, you know, it looks like, oh, see, men are the leaders, but they're really not the leaders though. We're just in the position of leadership, but we're not the actual leaders. We're not the ones that are good at it, right? That's what I'm saying. And I'm saying naturally. I'm not saying there's no men that are that. I'm not saying that there aren't good male leaders. Of course there are. There's tons of good male leaders, right? But most people who talk about leadership actually aren't good leaders. From my experience, most people who, especially on this, I will say that on this app, most people that I hear talk about leadership, I can tell they're not good leaders. They don't know what, because they don't know what leadership looks like, right? They want to, all they want to do is be the leader so they don't have to be the follower. All they want to do is be the leader because they think that that position comes with immunity. Nobody ever gets to question me. There's no repercussions for anything that I do. Blah, 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 blah. That's what most men are on when it comes to leadership, right? And I've said this before, but men, we did not earn leadership. We took it, and those are two completely different things. We took it and we held it. We took it and we manipulated it. That's a good reason not wanting to be the follower. No, that's not a good reason. Kasim, right on time. Who would think that that would be a good reason to not want to be a leader because you don't want to be a follower? What if you're better at following? That's your ego talking. What if you're not a good leader? Your only reason for being a leader should not be because you don't want to be a follower. That shouldn't even come into your brain. Now, do I want to follow poor leadership? No, I don't want to follow poor leadership. But do I want to be a leader simply so I don't have to listen to anybody else? Tells me everything I need to know about how you look at leadership. Because you think that you don't have to listen to anybody else to be a leader. But to be a good leader, you need to listen to everybody. That's what I'm saying. You're almost like you're looking at it in, leaders are the biggest followers. Leaders should be the biggest followers. When it comes to, so basically what I'm saying is leaders should go to everybody or as many people as they can or whatever, and then they should listen. And then that's how you lead. So you should be the biggest follower. Right? That's why it takes a certain type of person to be a leader, to be a good leader, because so many people aren't interested in listening to other people. So many people don't know, they don't listen to other people. And so they end up being terrible leaders because they're not interested in following. They're interested in not being held accountable for anything. That's the problem. Tell that to the leaders. To what leaders? I got you, Buller. Hey, everybody, tap the screen, man. Buller got a message. She said, please keep tapping the screen. We only had 30,000 likes, but I think everybody, y'all doing y'all thing, but let's keep it up. Appreciate everybody over there on YouTube. We got 100 people on YouTube's. I'm on my backup page. It's a light day for us over here, but we're gonna still have a good time. So how are non-accountable people leading? How are non-accountable people leading? By ignoring accountability. They're dodging it by their authority or their position. I mean, we're ran by a country full of people with no accountability. We're literally ran by a country full of people who have zero accountability. So, yeah, because that's leadership. Leadership could be bad or good. You could lead people off a cliff. You could lead people to their destruction, or you can lead people to prosperity, right? So think Trump, think Biden, think the other 46 presidents, 45, 44 presidents besides those two. Sorry, right? That's bad leadership. That's what bad leadership looks like. Supreme Court ruled against accountability twice this week. Has he seen what this country has turned into? He has not. It's called Republicans and Democrats, money laundering for weapons manufacturers. Duh. Yeah. It's so corrupt. Yeah. And somebody said it, passing the buck. Exactly. Most leaders just pass the buck. They just blame somebody else. All men are in the cult of man. Absolutely. Absolutely. You got to break free from the cult. You got to turn off. You have to shut the shut down the propaganda. You gotta drop the propaganda. Why women see males as leaders? Just asking. Come up, Patriarch Mike. You too, Cassim. Either one of y'all could come up, actually. I don't really care. Or both of y'all can come up. Let's see. Let's see what it is. The 3 branches of government, low-key, make it easier to pass the buck. Yeah, they just keep passing it to each other. The president blames Congress. The president blames Congress. Congress blames the Senate. Senate blames the president. They just keep rotating. What's up, Cassim?
What's going on? What's going on, Pug?
I'm chilling, broski. So, what was? I think are you tracking what I'm saying about leadership right now?
Yeah, I agree it's a problem.
No, I know, yeah, but I'm saying, well, why do you think it's a problem? Like,
I
what's
agree with what you're saying. Accountability is part of it,
yeah,
but a lot of it is what I would say how white people think they can do what they want,
white people?
but black people can't. I mean, it's simple. It's a to me, it's a way of feeling like an outlaw. Like I can get away with not obeying.
So,
Everybody got to obey something. Now,
uh,
everybody doesn't believe in the same thing,
yeah.
but that's where understanding has to come through groups. Everybody can't be in the same group. Everybody won't be.
Oh,
That's why you have gangs.
I'm curious. I'm so confused. So, do you think that only white people are bad leaders?
No, I think they're a gang.
Okay.
We're not. We're separated in our own with through our own people. Some
Uh,
motherfuckers is on the side of Aryan Nation. They like even if a person ain't with the Aryans, they fuck with them.
hey, watch the F word. They mess with him. I got you. I'm sorry. Okay, so what about leadership in Africa? What does it look like? Is it better?
I have no idea. I've never been to Africa.
I know, but I'm just not understanding. Like, why are you talking about white people specifically? As if
Not no, I'm not. I'm using them as an example because they're people just like we are.
okay,
They just move differently than we do. We're not together. They are.
I don't think white people are together, sir.
Not 100%, but the majority of them are.
Not even a majority of them.
I don't know how many people, white people, are in the country, but I listen to y'all tell me, and I don't know if I believe that 100%.
I don't think white people. I mean, they got a funny way of showing it.
Indeed, it's a closet racism. It's especially in the city where I live in, like Philly. They're not gonna come out and just call you a N word. They're gonna show it.
I'm okay, but that's most white tea people are negatively impacted by these systems, though.
Indeed, but they don't admit it. We'll sit here and talk about it every day.
Okay, I mean that's true, but they're not. I don't see that. I don't see them being together, man. Like I'm not. I think that's like
Okay.
I hate when black people say stuff like that, as if like all these other groups, the reason why they're getting ahead is because they're moving as a unit or whatever. That's not.
Yeah, they are. They are more united than we are. I don't think
I
that we're not united. I'm saying they're more united than we are.
don't
I
think
don't
they
think that
are.
we're not united. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think that we
Hold
move in
on.
the same direction.
Hold on.
If we go, do you want to live with? You want to
Kasim,
live amongst?
Kasim, Kasim, let
Go
me
ahead.
ask
I'm
you
sorry. Go ahead.
a question. Okay, so okay, so I got a question for you. If um, is it safe to say that about half of white tea people that vote for Republicans and half of white tea people vote for Democrats, right?
Mm-hmm.
About 50-50. Okay.
Yeah,
What percentage of black people vote Democrat?
that's a good question because I do not know. I don't even know if a lot of white black people vote, but
Listen to
you
what
know
I'm
what I
saying
mean. I'm
again.
sure they do.
Hold on. Let's go. Let's take
Well,
it
I
back
said
to
I don't
basics.
know. I said I don't know.
Hold on. No. Wait. So you can understand the question. What percentage of white tea people that vote Democrat or vote Republican? About 50%, right? It's about split down the middle. Okay. Now, on the flip side,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's actually a little bit more Democrat. There's more registered, whatever. But anyway, it's pretty close. Okay. Now, on when it comes to black people, what percentage of black people vote Democrat, and what percentage of black people that vote? I'm sorry. What percentage of black people that vote Democrat, and what percentage of black people vote Republican?
If I had to guess,
Yeah.
because I don't know the numbers,
Yeah.
but
Just
if I
guess.
had to guess,
Yeah.
more Democrat black to white,
No. I'm talking about black versus black.
black versus which? Now I'm lost now.
So I'm comparing the
Yeah, you got me.
groups. Yeah, I'm comparing the groups interpersonally. So I'm saying white tea people compared to white tea people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Half of
50
white
50.
people vote for Democrats, half of white tea people vote for Republicans. About 90% of all black Americans that vote Democrat. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
just like saying for an example, I'm saying this is a huge example, by the way. This is political, right?
All
We talk
right,
about
I would say,
this
like I said,
is a
if I had to
political.
guess,
Hold on,
I
wait,
would say it
hold
would
on,
be,
Kasim, wait.
huh?
This is a very stark example, right? So you said white tea people are more together than black people, and I was like,
No,
I
I
don't think
said, no, I didn't say
see.
that. I
You did
said
say
more
that.
united. I ain't
That's the
together,
same
united. If
thing.
that mean the same thing, all right, it's two different words, but go ahead.
Together and united are the same thing, brother.
Okay.
So I just talked about one important example, which is voting. I would think one of the biggest examples that we could point to, right? One of the
I'm a
best
vote.
ones, voting, right? And
I'm a vote. I know that.
yeah, okay. And I just looked this up. I mean, not just looked this up. So we're just talking about it right now. About half and half white tea people vote Democrat, white tea people vote Republican. Black people vote the vast majority of black people vote Democrat. Wouldn't that show that
Mm-hmm.
we are actually indeed more together than white tea people? At
As
least
Democrat,
politically.
yeah, as Democrats, yeah,
No,
you correct.
politically. Politically.
As a
Politically.
whole,
Yes, politically,
okay, yeah,
wouldn't that
possible.
show that
Yeah,
black
possible.
people
I'm agreeing to a certain extent, but yeah, I think you right.
okay.
Do it matter?
I mean, based on the math, it would look like we're way more together than
Okay,
any other demographic of people politically.
politically, right?
Which
Okay,
is
that's political.
what's more important in politics?
People,
Who?
people,
What does that mean?
the country, the whole, the human
What
race. Like
system? Hold on.
politics is just a structure.
Let me
Like, all right,
rephrase.
we like what structure do you follow?
let me rephrase the question. What system is more important than the political system?
Financial.
It's more important?
That's what matters in this country.
I don't think you can separate the two. I don't think money matters more than politics. Because
Okay,
money,
politics matters then. Most important then. If that's what you're saying, yeah, I agree.
I think it's close,
Yep.
right? But
Political.
okay.
Political.
But
Yeah,
I'm
I'm with it.
saying, okay. So politically, um, so politically, black people are far more united than white people. So what makes you say that everybody else is united, but black people aren't? Why do we get that jacket when it's actually the opposite, as far as I can tell?
Because from what I can tell, white people still hold the reign of being able to be racist and get away with it.
But that doesn't prove your point, though. It doesn't prove it doesn't. It doesn't prove that they're more together than everybody. That's not what that proves.
They're more together on that.
On racism?
Yeah, it's a bad thing, ain't it?
Okay, it is. Racism is bad, of course. But I'm just not understanding how it's crazy. This is very interesting. Because a lot of, and it's not just you can
That's
see.
the only thing that I can see. I don't see them like in terms of like unity, in terms of positivity. Yeah, I think we're better than them. But being fucked up, yeah, they the worst. They
Man,
worse than we are. But they'll publicize what we do every day.
yeah. I think what I'm trying to help you understand though is, or the thing that I don't like. Let me tell you what I don't like.
Yeah, just tell me what it is.
I'm gonna because I don't like when I hear black people say stuff like we're the only group, or only black people do this, or black, like in your only black people.
I never said that.
Sir, you were
I never said only black people do anything.
You did. I asked
I
you,
did not.
sir. Listen, I asked you who. I said you said that only
Come on,
black
man,
people
don't do that.
invited. Because you said
We having a good conversation, bro.
Huh?
Because I agree with you. Majority of what you're saying, I agree with. don't twist me for no reason.
I'm not conceding. I promise. I'm not twisting your words. That's what you were saying. That's what alarmed me.
I didn't say. I said we. I didn't say that we aren't united. I think they're more united than we are in a certain way. Like I said, in terms of racism, which is basically a control system. They control more. We don't control the same shit they do. You can't say that's a lie.
Yeah, bro.
In this country. I ain't saying around the world. I'm saying in this country.
Man, this is tough, bro.
That's all I'm saying. I think we are better than them. Yeah, I think we do more, way more. Because we gotta fight through the mud. So of course we gotta do more.
But that's not what we were talking about, though. That's okay.
Of course. Go. All right, my bad.
I'm just saying, bro. I'm so confused. It was so okay. So we gonna start from the beginning. So now that we got this established, that at least in one major way, black people are probably the most monolithic group of people when it comes to our politics. At least how we vote. At least our voting patterns, I would say, right? Right. Okay. I think that's important. I don't think. I mean, yeah. I think that's important. To me, it is. And if 90% of black people are voting Democrat, it ain't because we're brainwashed.
I don't have an issue with either party because I'm not in either one. So my whole thing is there's got to be, if there's a such thing as bipartisan, don't that mean across the aisle, like everybody got to agree?
Not everybody has to agree, but yeah.
But if you got that right to not agree, what can we say? You can't hold a person accountable for saying I don't want to do that.
Depends on what they're saying they don't want to do. You absolutely can.
Indeed, I agree there. Yeah, we don't know enough. We don't know what they debating or arguing about behind closed doors. We have no idea because we ain't in there.
I mean, you can watch C-SPAN and listen to them argue. I used to watch C-SPAN all day. You listen to them
I
argue.
watch it from time to time. I don't watch it every day, but yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you.
I used to watch C-SPAN for hours, man. That was like my goal. I watch C-SPAN all the time. But you can just listen to them like argue for hours about all types of different
Mm-hmm.
bills and all those funny clips that people be seeing that get clipped up. I used to catch all that in real time. I used to just watch it on C-SPAN. Like they used to be going at each other in them
And let
channels.
me ask you a question. Who be the majority of people arguing with each other on C-SPAN?
Politicians? Are you talking about racially?
Yeah,
I mean, the majority of the government is made up of white people. So it was white. It was a bunch. It was
I
everybody
ain't got
wrong.
nothing else to say.
Okay. Hey. Okay. This was a very interesting conversation. This is a very I did not mean to do that. This is a very interesting conversation though. I ain't gonna hold you.
And I agree with 85% of everything you said. Basically, everything you said, I agree with 85% of it.
Hmm, okay. Well, what don't you agree with?
Not much that I would care about. You know what I mean? Like I'm with you. You know what I'm saying? I still stand behind it. I'm just not going like I'm a type of person. I'm not going to get in front of something. I'm not really like trying to rumble. You know what I mean? But
No,
if you my folks, I'm with you.
listen, I'm not trying to rumble with you. I was just curious. I was really
No,
like,
no, I'm telling you how I feel about it as a whole.
okay,
If there's I can't pinpoint where I'm like, yeah, I disagree with you here. Nah, I'm just, you know what I mean? Everybody got their own thing. You know what I mean? But as long as we in majority agreement, I think we could work together. That's the way I see it. I ain't got to agree with you 100%,
okay.
but I can rock with 80. You know what I'm saying? I know you a good motherfucking dude.
Yeah, I got you. I appreciate it, brother. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming up, Kasim. Man,
Appreciate you too, bro. And I'm gonna keep following you and be in the comments.
appreciate you, brother.
All right, bro.
Yep. Mm. Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. That was interesting. What happened? I don't know what just happened. I was so. Oh my gosh. I'm so lost. I was lost. Hmm. I think it was me. I don't know. I think I messed up somewhere in there. Hmm. It was interesting how distorted it got, Freckles, for me. I didn't understand it. I was like, what? What's happening? Hmm. Okay. Moving on. I appreciate it, man. Okay. Yeah. Hmm. Kasim said he get it. I was just a little confused by it. Jeff, what's good?
Not much, man. I was trying to keep up with that conversation. That was tough.
It was a tough
That was
one.
tough.
It was a tough one. The thing that I was just trying to, like I said, I just want, so I can be clear, so I can make sure I'm in the right place. I have a problem when black people say, only black people do this, only black people do that. Black people are inefficient here, black people are inefficient there. And then come to find out that's really not the case at all. It's like literally the complete opposite. And I'm like, would you look at that? We're human too. Would you look at that? We actually are together. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, so when I hear it, I get triggered by it. I'm just gonna put it like that. I get triggered by it. I ain't gonna even hold you. I get triggered by it, and that's when it derails my whole train of thought, to be honest. Because I wasn't even talking about that. But it caught me off guard. I was just like, why? Like, why are we always like the worst in people in our own minds? We're the worst. And I don't see that. Like I'm looking like on some real stuff. Like we're done the worst. We're in the worst conditions, but are we the worst? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. Damn near impossible for us to be the worst. It don't even make sense.
Yeah, I think that he was trying to get confused because he was trying to conflate all whitey people into the same box. The system was set up by whitey people, no doubt about it. That's what's up, right? But the system oppresses a lot of people, including a whole bunch of whitey people. Now, whether they recognize it or not is a different story because, like, your oppression, my oppression, two different oppressions, right? You can clock yours, but mine is not in the open. Mine's not. So that being the case, a lot of people like me don't think they're oppressed when we know that they are. So that being the case, like when you interact with those people, they're like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm supposed to be making 45K a year." Like, fool, that's not what you're supposed to be doing. You know, the top dog whitey man said that's you supposed to be happy with that. And he was trying to, like I said, just because of the color of our skin doesn't mean that we want to be oppressive in that manner. That's not where we want to be at all. So we gotta bust that apart. Just like you said about voting, like, you know, as a community, a lot of people vote one way as compared to everybody over here is like all different doing that type of thing. So like that just goes to show like we don't go together. We're not joined, like what he was trying to say, you know.
Hey man, most black people, rich or poor, east side, north side, west side, south, it don't matter. In the south, in the east, most black people vote Democrat. Like that's just what it is. It don't even like that's the thing. Like that's what I be saying. Like I be tripping out about it. I'm like, black people are proof that like we are more class solid than any other group, right? We have the most amount of class solidarity. We have the most like we are gender based, whatever. We're the most together when it comes to like gender equality, like all of these things. We're still far off, don't get me wrong, like in totality. But compared to the other groups in this country, we are definitely like more together. We're more, you know what I mean? Like so when I hear especially black people say that, like I don't even entertain if a white T person says that. I'm dropping them instantly. But like if a black person says that, I'm just very curious, like as to why we believe it. Somebody said in the comments that we believe the lies they tell about us, and I think that's my problem. And it's the same thing about this type. It's the same. It's that cult, man. And you know what I'm saying? And you be in it or you be, I'll just be like, man, how are we gonna get out of this one? we gotta get out of this shit. It got us in a chokehold, man. It really does. Sierra, what's good? We got Sierra over here on the YouTubes. What's good, Sierra?
Hello?
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, hi. Good afternoon. Just checking in from Maryland. First, I wanted to say I'm really a fan of your channel. But I had a question for you as it regards like cult of man.
Mm-hmm.
So like even when I look at your background picture, like a couple people that stand out like Kanye, Dr. Umar, Kevin Samuels, and like Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
As a man, within the context of like the cult of man, why do you think like all of these men can view themselves so differently from the other men, but as women, like we will see them and see how they are synonymous? So like I think Dr. Umar would put himself as like the complete opposite of Donald Trump, right? Yeah. But there's a way in which like I as a woman, I could see why someone would say Dr. Umar is literally the same as Donald Trump, and so on and so forth with any of the other men on the picture.
That's facts. I think that their willful ignorance, their grandiose sense of self, their pomposity, their cult of personality, their lack of empathy, lack of understanding. Yeah. I think those, for me, those are the ways that I connect them. And some of their politics align too. I wouldn't be shocked if their narcissism. I wouldn't be shocked if Umar voted for Donald Trump. Like I would not be shocked by that. where I'm at now, especially when it comes to black men who think like Umar, I'm shocked when they don't vote for Donald Trump. And I don't think Umar does, by the way. I'm pretty sure Umar's not a Trump supporter, because I think I've heard him talk about Trump like negatively before. And that's because of the racism. To me, like, that's obvious. That's because of the racism. So he ain't too far gone, because Umar understands racism extremely well. Extremely well. But he doesn't understand sexism. He doesn't understand misogyny at all. I feel like it's a huge blind spot for him. But with that said, he says a lot of the same things. When it, like, economically, as it pertains to black people, like, he critiques capitalism, but not really, because he's always talking about, like, black people got to build a school. Black people got to build. It doesn't matter. The system is still, you still have to operate within the system. You know what I'm saying? That's like saying, like, we could solve police brutality by hiring all black people. It wouldn't. It would be the same thing, because they would all get in there. They would all get the same handbooks that teach you to racially profile black people, racially profile Latino people, like, they get all the same teachings. Oh, if they have a lettered belt, if they have a belt with a letter with an initial on it, they're probably in a gang. Oh, if they have a lot of tattoos and they have locks, they're probably in a gang. Like, that's what they're getting taught, the same thing. So I don't understand. And when you go, and I've seen it happen, we all have, right? It don't even got to be. It could be you could talk about the military, or you could talk about the police. You've seen people go start the military one way and come out the military, come out of boot camp or come out of their tour or whatever, thinking completely differently about the world, right? Before, when they left, they was like on some, like, free this country until they free. Then they come home and they talking about some, well, America, I mean, if we weren't over there, it would be a total disaster if we were, you know what I'm saying? They start to justify it. Same thing people do with the police. Before they go in, it's ACAB, ACAB, ACAB. Then they come out and it's like, well, I mean, people is crazy, man, on the street, man. Black people just, I mean, I'm not saying black people are the most, how they'll try to tone it down a little bit when they're talking to other black people, but you know what they saying. So I think Umar doesn't, like, offer, like, strong enough critiques of the system. So he ends up saying things that sound very eerily similar to a Donald Trump. Very eerily similar, right? And Umar he puts people with money on a pedestal. He really does. So yeah, he has a lot of similarities, and all of these men are similar in this way, because so here's what I'm saying. There is a right-wing cult of man, aka red pill ideology, to right-wing ideology pipeline. We all know that, right? And vice versa. It does. You could start on either end of the tube, but it's going to lead you down those same two paths, essentially. You can start from the right-wing part of it and end up being a raging misogynist, or you can start from the raging misogynist part and end up being an alt-right member, right? Like, it go either way, but they're in the same pipeline. And when I'm outside of a lot of these people, how they vote and all of that stuff, when you separate that from them, when you know what I'm saying, but when you talk to them about, like, men, women, children, things of that nature, how the patriarchy hurts men, how the patriarchy hurts children, they all have very similar ideologies. They all say very harmful and toxic things. I've heard every man up here. I've heard them say insensitive things, right? I've heard them say, things, like I said, just things that we could just deem to be insensitive, all the way to being, like, actively harmful, like, really like violence with their words towards women. This dude, Stacey P, violence. Fresh and Fit, violence. Don P, violence. Andrew Tate, violence. Kevin Samuels, violence. Sneeko, I've heard them all say things that are violence towards women, right? All of them. Umar talking about let that man cheat in peace. cheating is different for men down that same, that same crap or whatever the case may be. But they're all on the same track to me. Like they all are on the same track. And that's because the patriarchy does, even though in our country and in the world since the inception of racism, the patriarchy has definitely has been connected to racism and capitalism and a couple other things, right? But mainly those three, patriarchal, capitalistic, racist system, right? Like that, those are the main pillars of it, right? And they're all connected, don't get me wrong. But once upon a time, before those things were invented, the patriarchy was already here and it was thriving, right? So men can always default to the cult. That's the most natural place for us, and that's where you will find most. That's where you will find the largest number of men congregating. You will find black men, you will find white men, you'll find rich men, you'll find poor men. It don't matter. You will find socially progressive men, right? You'll find like men who you want liberal men. You'll find liberal white men and far right wingers all congregating in the same room of misogyny, in the cult of misogyny, in the cult of man. You will find they are there. We are all there. We are all in that room. And that's the thing that I don't think enough men clock. Because like I just said, Umar doesn't like Trump. I don't think Umar likes Trump. And for me,
I would agree. I don't think he would speak fondly of him either.
I don't think he would either. But for me, if you don't like somebody, especially I'm talking like those types of people, like political figures and things of that nature, right? If you don't like that person, wouldn't you do everything in your power to distance yourself from that person? And I'm talking about not be performative about it. I'm saying to actually be like, wait, like anytime that person says something that you agree with, you gotta clock it. Like, wait, me and Donald Trump agree on that? Oh, let me go back. Me and Umar agree on it. Like anytime Umar makes sense to me, I don't react to it initially. I take the time to unpack it and make sure I ain't tripping. Because a broken clock could be right twice a day. Anytime Kevin Samuel says anything that actually is insightful to me, I make sure that it actually is what I think it is, and it's not me having this visceral reaction because a part of me is still in the cult or whatever the case may be. You see what I'm saying? And I don't think enough men take the time to do that. That's where we fall short when it comes to this stuff.
So that actually makes me have another question for you, because like when I think of cults, like I think about infamous ones like Jonestown, or like what Charles Manson was doing, or like I remember, I don't know, it was some Forensic Files episode. They was talking about like these Rajneeshis. I don't know what they were called.
Yeah, I know.
But one thing that's like similar with all of them is that like they never really disband themselves. It's always like this outside force that has to destroy them in order for the cult to like stop growing. So like in the context of the cult of man or patriarchy, like do you think feminism, 4B movement, or men like yourself, do you think it's a strong enough force to destroy the cult of man? Or is like patriarchy this like thing that's, because now it's on the earth, it's gonna be here forever?
Oh, I don't believe anything is forever. I believe everything has a beginning and an end. I mean, one day I know for a fact the sun is going to explode, right? So it can't go on forever, right? So ultimately, I know one day all this stuff is going to end. But no, I mean, not to sound like get too on that, but like it didn't always exist, therefore it doesn't have to always exist. You know what I mean? It didn't, and capitalism is relatively new. Racism, relatively new. Of course it can end. Of course. Do I think that we are strong enough to change it? Absolutely. And the thing about it is, and anybody that's listened to me long enough will tell you, let you know, these systems of oppression, capitalism, racism, the patriarchy, they are so fragile that it won't even take all of us to topple it. And that's why it has to work. Like, here's what I'm saying. You can tell how fragile the system is by the level of propaganda the system must produce to keep everybody in check, right? Because if these systems were strong, like if capitalism was what they're saying, what they're trying to tell us it is, they wouldn't need to indoctrinate us in elementary school, junior high school, and high school. They wouldn't need to tell us. They wouldn't need to talk about McCarthyism, right? They wouldn't need to call it the Red Scare, right? They wouldn't need to do that type of stuff. Yeah. They would just be able. Shouldn't they just present it like, here's an argument for capitalism. They would teach us about every political and economic system and then let us decide for ourselves which one makes sense. Instead, they say capitalism is the best. We're working from that point. These other things are scary and they're going to hurt you. And then you have to, and then you go and when you're at your most impressionable, when it's going to last the longest, that's when they pump you full of that stuff. And then you have to unlearn it when you're, in higher education or on your own. But guess what? The vast majority of Americans don't pursue higher education. So then the vast majority of us never unlearn it. And they know that, and that's the setup. They're okay with a certain amount of the population unlearning it. They're okay with that. They're okay with us, not us, because I'm not in academia, but they're okay with those people in academia unlearning it. They're perfectly fine with that. That's perfectly okay with them. They're like, they ain't enough. They ain't gonna do, But if you even clock what's going on, look, if you guys don't believe that the only thing that's stopping us from doing what we need to do is a lack of education, all you have to do is look at what's happening across every college campus as it pertains to the Palestine and Israel conflict, right? Or we can't call it a conflict, but y'all know. I got to be careful on TikTok. The kids, they're smart. These are kids that are being educated. They're not jaded, right? They still know and believe that the world can be changed, and they believe it's their duty to change it, right? So you got all of that going for them. Don't get me wrong, but then you also have them being actually educated, and that's the difference. You have all these groups of people. The common denominator, right? The UCLA thing, the Columbia thing, the Harvard thing, the this campus, the Cal State campus. The thing you have in common is all these people are educated. All the people that are out there they're all educated. And I'm not saying like they all have degrees or whatever. They're all educated, specifically on this topic. That is the difference. So when we talk about unlearning misogyny, unpacking misogyny, undoing these terrible systems, it is the lack of education is what's stopping us. The lack of education is what's stopping us. And that's why you will find a bunch of men specifically when we talk about these issues. Look, there's 188 people here. I know I'm on my backup page. 188 people in here. If we go through the list, 90% of them are women, unfortunately, right? In the room. I'm sure there's people lurking, watching, or whatever, but they ain't listening to learn. They listening to hate, right? But I'm saying there's 188 people in here. 155 of them are women. And the women are listening, and we're commenting, and we're bouncing to your talk, and we're having this conversation, this deep conversation on a Saturday, right? The men they don't want to educate themselves, right? We're having a crisis, a pseudo-intellectual crisis. We're having a pseudo-intellectual crisis. We're having an anti-intellectual crisis in this country. And that is the thing that is holding us back the most. And men will fight tooth and nail to make sure that they don't get educated. I had a dude on my live the other day. We were arguing about a word, the definition of... No. He said, oh man, what did he say? Oh, he said the majority of the government was made up of... or half the government was made up of women and half of it was made up of men. Yeah. And I said, no, but... I
watched that. You watched that? Very interesting.
And what happened when I said, okay, so if I look it up right now, because you told me you Googled it, so what if I Google it and the Google results show, basically I was like, whatever the Google results show, we'll go with that. right? And he was like, nah. I was like,
yeah, he was committed to his belief.
I was like, what?
The patriarchy wasn't real, and that half the government was women. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, what do you do with that? What do you do with that? When people are that undereducated, and then to compound it and make it 10 times worse, they actively don't want to be educated. And then they say stuff like, don't go to college because you're going to go in debt. And then they say stuff like, we don't care about your degrees. And then they say stuff like, well, I don't want to marry an educated woman because she going to think she better than me. They think every woman is going to treat them like Monique treated Precious.
Yeah.
Right? They think every educated woman is going to treat them like Monique treated Precious. And that shit blows my mind. It blows my mind because they don't even know how often they come in contact with educated women. They don't even realize it. I'm like, do you think every woman that you come in contact with is uneducated? I would bet you most of them, or a lot of them, I won't say most of them, but a lot of them are, man. Highly educated, by the way. Especially if you're in these spaces. You know what I'm saying? Like, all my mutuals got degrees. My wife has 2 degrees. Like, every woman I know dang near got a degree. So I'm like, what are y'all talking about? They don't treat me no different. You know what group of women actually do treat me differently though? What group of women actually do be coming after me?
Who?
The undereducated. The undereducated, the Pygmishas, the Jalazis, the Asayas of the app. I'm just saying.
I believe it.
That's all I'm saying.
That point too is like, because there's this way in which, like, okay, as a black man and as a black woman, I am a black woman. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know. You ain't got to tell me.
When I saw people asking, I'm from Maryland. I didn't know people were asking, so East Coast girl. But I feel like the Kevin Samuels, the Fresh and Fits, those type of people, there's a frustration that like men have, and I feel like those people give them like a group to blame. So the group is women. And I think like in the case of like the Holocaust, you know, that was a particular group that was given to blame, and even currently what's going on in Palestine, it's like there's a group to blame for what people.
You have to find a scapegoat.
Yes.
You have to find a scapegoat. It was black. It is, and it always will be in this country until we change the system. It always will be black people in this country. But they're adding new groups, right? Now it was always immigrants before, but now it's but before, remember, now we don't remember, but from a historical aspect, it was the Irish, it was the Germans, it was the Chinese, it was the Scottish, it was the who are the other ones I'm thinking? The Italians. It was the Italians, gangs in New York. They got scapegoated for a long time, right? Then it was the Jewish people. Like all these groups of people get scapegoated throughout history. Black people the whole time we were always getting scapegoated. Always getting scapegoated, right? We're the foundation. You know, we're the bread, I would say, in the sandwich. And then other people the toppings may change, but it's always us. We always do. It's always gonna start with us. Don't get me wrong. Fast forward to now. Who is it now? It's our brothers and sisters from the South, right? Yeah. Central America, South America, our Cubanos, the Mexicanos, the Puerto Ricans. Like it's all those groups of people. They getting scapegoated now. It's our El Salvadorian brothers and sisters. It's all these. I'm like sitting there like, how do we keep falling for the same tricks? But then how do you keep falling for the same tricks? You stay uneducated. You stay undereducated. That's how you keep falling for the same tricks. That's what happens.
Like generally speaking, just be like for you yourself, just becoming more educated is what like was the catalyst for your shift to, I guess, move from a mindset of misogyny
to be an anti-misogynist.
Yes,
100%. It was
that was the catalyst.
It was For me, it the thing that started it wasn't necessarily being educated, but it was. Well, I guess it was. It was me being like it was an aha moment, which you can call that education. My wife pointed something out to me. I was like, oh shoot, so I got it. But yeah, and moving forward, the thing that drives me the most, the thing that like is the thing that allows me to grow the most and feeds me the most is the education. No doubt about it. But I get the education many ways, right? I get it from talking to intelligent people like you. I get it from talking to intelligent people like Jeff. I get it. I get it. I get it from having these conversations. That's a part of it. I get it from reading. I get it from watching documents. Like, I'm just consuming the information at all times. But how I process it is also important. And I think that a lot of us don't process the information properly because we don't use critical thinking. We don't use our critical thinking abilities, right? And that's something I talk about a lot too. And I try to talk to men about it. I'm like, hey man, you should learn how to think critically. Like that's important. If you want to be on this journey, thinking critically is important. And I peep this. Once again, y'all gonna say whatever. The people who disagree with us, over here who have these points of views, just have discussions with them rooted in logic, and you will see how they don't the critical. You know what I'm saying? Like you can see, you're like, oh okay, so there's something there. There's something missing. You know what I'm saying? There's something and I'm trying to identify it. I'm trying to chip away at it. I'm trying to get down to it. And then you talk to somebody like there's a dude, Sean. Sean you can tell when you listen to Sean, he has critical thinking and he has logic, but Sean also has emotional intelligence, and that's the last for men. That's the last key. We lack the emotional intelligence to connect everything. Because if you don't have empathy, it's gonna be hard for you. It's gonna be hard for you to pull all this stuff together, right? The logic. You can be as educated as you want to. You can be as logical as you want to, but it'll only go so far unless you have empathy. If you don't couple the empathy with the logic, it ain't gonna work. It's like taking vitamin C, right? What they say, you got to take it with something else, right? It's like eating beans without rice. It's not a you got to eat to make a perfect protein. You got to have a complex carb and a simple carb or whatever you want, a simple protein or whatever. So you eat the bean, you eat the rice together. That's a perfect meal. Beans and rice, right? It's a perfect meal. It's a complete meal when it comes fiber and carbs and protein, right? That's how I look at these things. I'm like, hey man, you gotta get it. You gotta get it all together. You have to have the empathy. You gotta mix it in with the information. You have to have the critical. You have to use all this stuff. And Kasim, critical thinking is it's a way that you think about stuff, and it's a way that you process information and how you the most important part about it is how do you vet the information that you receive. Right? How do you know if something is real? You know what I mean? Like how do you discern if it's reliable, if the sources are reliable, if that makes sense? So yeah, a lot of that is a part of it. Mia, what's good?
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So I wanna touch on a couple things from what I observed being in the prison, right? So the guy earlier, what we was talking about earlier, when I said that we be believing the what's said about us. When I tell you, I am always like shook when I hear what some of the guys say to me. I was in my parenting class and one of the guys was like, yeah, black folks, they be letting their kids run around and terrorize and do all kind of stuff. You know, Miss Mia, you heard about them kids carjacking? And I was like, wait, not you in here talking like that. And that's when I knew. I was like, when they hear like the negative narrative about black people, a lot of these pseudo pro-black folks, they actually believe that, and so they spend a lot of time trying to I guess you would say trying to out capitalist or be with the respectability politics. I'm gonna just leave it there, and that's what I think about when I think of a Dr. Umar or Tariq, or whatever his name is. I think of him. I think of those who they do not see the value in Black folks. So what they try to do is they try to give us value by giving us these material things that we can try to adhere to. So that's where they police in the way you talk, what you say, how you act, but they hide it behind, oh no, listen to me because I'm pro-Black. You hear me, whatever, right? And it's scary. So the other thing I want to touch on as it relates to the cult of man, right? And it's another example. I said this in the Discord, right? I was telling the girlies this in the Discord. One of the guys asked me about me being a feminist. And I knew then that the cult of man was so crazy. You gotta understand, for a person, for a man, a Black man in the South, in a prison in the South, worrying about feminism, you gotta know they got them. So
the tentacles are deep. The tentacles be everywhere.
Man, they're so deep. So of course, like I clock it, I check it, I do all this stuff, right? But I'm overwhelmed, and then I'm like, okay, so I'm observing things, right? So this when I learned how crazy it is. So with the cult of man, what ends up happening is you have that man who the guy, because again, the prison I'm at is 70% Black, so it's heavily it's the Black men ratio is high. But then I thought about how some of these with the correction officers, right? So a lot of what what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of what allured them to working in a prison is a part of the cult of man, this need to have some type of power and authority. So when you put the prison guys to the side, and I talk to my colleagues, you know how many times some of my colleagues, I mean, these YT men are poor. I mean, they're poor. And the working at the prison is like a saving grace for them. You know how many of them would talk to me and ask and complain about how the inmates get free health care, but they don't, while working for the state. So then I'm like, okay, I'm like, whoa, they don't even hear themselves. So I'm like, that's capitalism. And then the last thing, the one thing that I started recognizing to put them both together, the one way that an officer and an inmate will bond and connect is when they're being misogynistic. They will connect, like they are at odds on all the other things, right? But the one thing them jokers connect on is being misogynistic and anti-woman. They have the same conversations. They are just as violent towards us. The inmates are violent towards the women that work there. My colleagues are violent towards us women that work there. They do the same thing, the same sick behaviors, the same sick conversations. I witnessed an officer and an inmate see a woman, one of my coworkers, she walked by and the officer and the inmate objectified her together. And that's when I was like, oh, the cult of man is strong, and until they recognize it, I don't know. I'm gonna leave that to you, brother, but I just don't know. And I'm sorry, one more thing, and then I'm gonna land my plane because I just thought about this. Because when we talk about the intellectual thing, right, or being educated, so I said this too to the girlies. Like a lot of these guys in prison, they have a lot of time, and they start reading a lot. They're well read, but the irony is a lot of them revert back to Islam, right?
Yeah.
And the craziest thing about that is all the reading and the learning that they have access to do in their condition, they will revert to a religion, and they pick the parts of it that guess what the parts they pick of it do?
The misogynistic.
Objectify women. So it's like it's the craziest and most insane thing. But I do my work. I be cooking them when I get the chance to every once in a while. But for the most part, I'm gonna just leave it to people like you to handle it. But it's crazy and it's so disheartening. I'll land there.
Man, I was just, maybe just said, I was about to say it right now. That dude yesterday that kept talking about Kush. You got to go back to Kush. You don't know about Kush. I was like, I do. I just don't care. I think a lot of people think like because they read some or they saw some or they watched some documentary, like because like and it says I don't care about it, then that must mean I must didn't see the same thing that they saw. And I'm like, no, I saw it. It didn't have the same effect on me. I didn't believe it when I saw it. You know what I mean?
And I clocked that in real time because again, like me and the girls, we be having fun in your Discord. So I clocked that in real time.
That's y'all Discord.
I know, right? I clocked that in real time, and I told him before he said it. I said he learned in the penitentiary, and before I could even get it all out, he told you that he learned all the things in the penitentiary. I said, I'd be goddamn.
Yep.
I said he said that stuff public like he went to Penn State.
Yep.
Like, are you insane?
It all made sense when he said it. I was like, okay, I got you. All right, enough said. Carry on, brother. When people tell me, oh, you learned the white man's word of patriarch, sir, that's an English word. What you mean?
Dude, I said you're speaking the King's English, trying to talk about this man learning the like, so we can't be educated, but we can speak it. Like, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about? That is the language. Like, I'm just speaking the language. Like, what? That's just a word. Like, that's the word. That is the English word for this that describes this thing. And I was just trying to get to that. That's all I wanted to get to. Was like, this word describes this thing. That's it. Can we talk about that? Oh, that's the English version. What is the word for patriarchy in Arabic? Is there a word for it? I bet you there's not.
And it wouldn't matter even if he did, because again, he learned Arabic from reverting to Islam. Like, stop playing in people's face. You set up there, and this is my thing. I public, you might not agree, and I could be, because I be in my feelings because I worked 40 hours. I ain't gonna stop saying it, but you cannot say that I'm anti-black, or you can't be trying to throw those things out there, because that's what he was doing to you, when the most anti-black thing is what you did to get you into the pen to learn Arabic by reading the Quran. How dare you? I'm sorry. How dare you? How dare you do that? And I say that because oftentimes they tell me I play into the system. If you ain't being in here playing to the system more than me, I don't know what to do. How dare you?
You get a paycheck and you got dental, so it's a little different. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm
they do too, Pub. They do too. I just told you.
I know they got healthcare. No, I know they got healthcare. But nah, that's nasty work. You know what I'm saying? That's nasty work. Yeah, what you in? I had to do the same thing. A dude was coming at me, he was saying, I wish Coco was in here, man. She cooked that dude that night. I was crying. It was that dude, C. Gore. It was C. Gore. It was a night he told us what he did. He was like, I went to the pen and I served X amount of years. And then Coco was like getting on his head, and I think she asked him what he did or something. And that fool must have said that he was in for like attempted unaliving. Mm-hmm. We was like, you can't
make it up, man.
You don't talk to me about anything anti-black. What are y'all talking about? Y'all out here really trying to unalive black people, and you talking about me? You mad at me because I'm just talking about the word patriarchy, and I'm saying this is what the word patriarchy means, so we can have a discussion.
Offensive. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna drop for you. But you say that, but you calling out the patriarchy, it offends them because that's their last hope to power.
Yeah.
That's their last hope to power. So when you are talking about it, you are offending them, and it seems like you are attacking what they think they deserve, which is this opportunity to have this black patriarch, black masculinity. So they have to pull at straws, and they have to push back on you, and they have to try to use racial epithets towards you, because how dare you tell us, or how dare you expose them in that, and that be what they mad about. And I say, I ain't gonna say what I want to say. I'm gonna say it in the Discord, but they can. I'm gonna leave it for the Discord. But yeah,
be careful. Let's tread lightly. Don't get your boy banned.
Right. But all right, public.
I appreciate you. Hey, that's real though. That really is what it be like when I be having these discussions. But that's coming from them. That wouldn't explain why the white men have the same reaction too. They got the same reaction. We could say it's because black men, It's that too for black men, but it's also just men. It's just men we have bought into this. We set up this whole system to steal the labor of women. That's it. That's what the whole system was founded on. The system that is the patriarchy, the at its core, the whole idea of the patriarchy is let's steal the labor of women. That's it. People want to overcomplicate it. People want to overcomplicate it. People want to act like it's something else, that it's about law and order and no. It's about stealing the labor of women. Racism stealing the labor of black people, capitalism stealing the labor of the working class. Oh, that's why all these systems are connected. I feel
like
go ahead.
What black men do with Cu1t is the same thing YT men in this country do
with Rome
Confederacy.
Oh, with the
and the Confederacy.
Hold on, say that again. Hold on. Say that again. Hold on, she said something. What's that? Say that again. That was nice.
Like, I think, because even when you think about, like, a couple years ago, they was upset at those monuments coming down.
Mm-hmm.
And not even all of them came down.
Mm-hmm.
So were YT women, but a lot of YT men were upset. And even to this day, I mean, I don't even fully understand how it's not against the law for them to wave Confederate flags. But there's this way in which, I mean, because they lost. The Confederacy lost. So it's like, how are you legally, like as a country, like, that's how...
Slippery slope. Slippery slope.
So even to the man that was speaking earlier about, like, them all being united, it's like they're not united, but they also are, like, in the context of, like, YT supremacy, like, they're fine with, like, still showing, like, the symbols of power. So it's like, yeah, like, the way some black men will have an obsession with Cu1t because they look at that as a time when black people were powerful, like when they had kingdoms or whatever. I feel like YT men do the same thing with the Confederacy.
Facts. I was thinking, I said Rome because it's more...
But them too.
But when you said the Confederacy, I was like, ooh, I like that one even better because that's more recent. But yeah, same thing. Let's go back to that. That's the MAGA. That's the MAGA. Ain't that MAGA? Let's make America great. Ain't that the times they talking about?
Yeah.
Somewhere around those times. If it ain't those times, fast forward 100, cool, 50, 60, wasn't that much difference. So...
Yeah, like Jim Crow and Reconstruction.
Yeah, all right, so they wanted post-Reconstruction, but they wanted pre-civil rights. they want that sweet spot. Post-Reconstruction, pre-civil rights. That's what they want. They want to be able, they want black people to have money to spend, and have to buy stuff from them and contribute to the tax, to the paying taxes and whatnot, but they don't want us to have any rights. Right? And then a lot of black men now, they're saying the same thing, but about women, right? They're doing the same thing about women. Oh yeah, let's go back to a time when women couldn't vote. What?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, it's like weird.
Hey man, I ain't gonna hold y'all. That should be hate speech.
Yeah.
I don't see how that's not hate speech. Saying we should go back to a time when women couldn't vote. That's not hate speech. You talk about like First Amendment type stuff. That's once again, that's violence. That's violence. Denying somebody their right to vote based on their gender seems like violence to me. But maybe I'm wrong. But and I thought that's what the First Amendment was, you can't incite violence, blah, 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 blah. But if you're telling us as a country that we should go back to a time when women couldn't vote, I'm sorry, that's crazy. That should be like, there are people who are giving speeches in rooms full of hundreds and thousands of people saying that, and they're clapping on TV. And everybody just like what? Man, that's crazy. Yeah, man. We on some. It's different. I'm telling you, the lack of education is so crazy. The lack of how much ahistorical information gets passed around in our society is mind blowing to me. The amount of times that I've heard people say the complete opposite truth of something about history, it's shocking. It's shocking. Like I can't believe it. Like I expect wealthy white people to say certain things about, I expect them to say that men built this. YT men built. I expect them to say that. Of course, they look at them. They're the largest benefactors of it. Totally understand. Get it. Doesn't justify it, but I understand it. I don't understand why a working class white man would say those things. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't get why he would say those things. The same way I don't get why any black man would say that stuff. The same way I don't understand why any woman would say that. Like, I don't understand. It blows my mind. So I'm always a little taken back when I hear people saying stuff like that. It just shows me it's scary, and you wonder. There's a book there. I wish I could remember the book. I had the book a long time ago. There's a book, this woman wrote it. She ended up doing a TED talk on it. But she was talking about how America and Smazi Germany, and I read the book 12, 13 years ago. And she was saying that we were primed to be Smazi Germany. We're primed for it. This was 13, pre-Trump, pre-Biden, pre-Obama, pre-all of those people, right? But they taught if you think about it, the way that they were able to pull that off was because the average German at that time was very undereducated as well. They had just came out of World War I, right? They were battered, they were beaten, they were bruised, they were broke, poor as heck as a country. They were destitute, right? So you had a nation full of poor, undereducated, and uneducated people. And they were upset, and they were scared, and they were vulnerable. And they were about to turn on the powers that be until they gave them, to Sierra's point, they gave them a scapegoat. They gave them a scapegoat, right? They told them it was those people over there that's been over in our country this whole time. Been over here this whole time, you know what I'm saying? We're going to blame them for all of this stuff. And not to say that, once again, you can say that about black people. We do stuff, we mess up, we're not perfect, cool, whatever, right? Let's get that out the way before somebody say, but you can't blame. Like, I know y'all, but what aboutism people, I be really wanting to fight y'all in real life. But so I'm got to give it right now before y'all go there. Yeah, cool. It happens, but nobody's perfect. They did something, like, cool, we get that, right? But they gave them a scapegoat, and that's what they used, and that was the foundation they laid, and then, boom, Smazis are born. And I watched the video the other day, and this lady said it, and I was like, oh, I'm so glad you said that. She said, you can always tell when fascism is going to take over. She said, wherever you see when you see a lot of fascism, it means that the country is broke. It means that the country is poor. And America is most certainly poor right now. We most certainly are poor. But we are a military base. Our economy is based on our military. We don't produce anything. We don't, right? We don't. What resources do we have? We don't. We control stuff. Don't get me wrong. We control things, but we don't produce the stuff. We don't have the resources. We just occupy, right? So yeah, America is most certainly seemingly broke, and the oligarchs are robbing it. By the way, the robber barons, they're taking all the money. They're looting the country. That's what they're doing. Because I want you guys to understand something. I'm gonna open it up to you, to you, Jeff. That America, the way that these companies function, they are not American, right? and I hate to go back again to Smarty Germany, but like American-based companies, like Ford was still helping the Smarties. The banks in America, they were the same banks in America, they were keeping the Smarties money. They were holding their money for them, right? They didn't stop doing business with them, right? If you look at like Coca-Cola or Pepsi or Levi's or Chiquita, right? Or any of these types of companies, Post, what's the cigarette company that makes like Newports and stuff like that? Benson and Hedges. If you look at these, they do not, they aren't, they're not even in America. I bet you Nestle. They're multinational companies. They don't have a country. They are their own country. They're everywhere and they're nowhere. So they don't care about America. They don't care about the red, white, and blue. You dig what I'm saying? They're robbing us. They're looting it. They're taking all of our money. They're stealing it. They're taking all of our labor and all of our money. And that's what they're doing. And they're sucking us dry. And they're a parasite. And that practice has been happening, rinse and repeat, over and over and over again for centuries. It is not new to America. That's how every empire has fallen. If you go back and check it, that's how almost every single one has fallen that way. Almost every single one, man. It's crazy. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, I'm with you on all of that. And then to add to another point is they do it with us, right? They weaponize us against each other, and they're at the top. But if you look at some of the smotsy stuff, there were people inside of that system that said, well, what I'm doing is not really that bad because I'm just doing this one little thing. I'm just doing this one little thing over here. Like it's not, I know that it's not the best, but I'm not actually doing the worst part. Somebody else is doing that.
I gotta work. I can't, what you expect me to do, not work?
Right. So we have to abolish that individually ourselves. Like I'm not working for that company because I don't like what they stand for. I'm not going to buy from that company because I don't like what they stand for. Same thing with, like you said, a lot of people that were buying Model Ts and stuff like that, that money was going straight to over there for the smotsy effort because Mr. Ford didn't care about the U.S. as much as he cared about that dollar. And so everybody supported what was taking place. You got to have a car. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, we have to break that system down. They're actively, anybody that doesn't acknowledge and try to actively break it down, you're just perpetuating that a little bit further down the line, right?
Mm-hmm. I never forget. There was this dude that I used to talk to. When I used to do this podcast, like years ago, like probably like 6-7 years ago. But he used to talk about how everything. He had this like saying, and I don't want to misquote him because it was a heavy saying. He was pretty crazy in certain ways, but in this way, I rocked with him. But he was just saying like how we all like, because we're consumers, we end up consuming ourselves. Like that was like the best way I could describe what he was saying. And I was like, damn, that's crazy, because everything you buy, if you trace it to its point of origin, it hurts us. Our phones hurt us. These computers hurt us. The jewelry hurts us. The clothes we buy hurts us. Ultimately, now you buy to look for, you know what I'm saying? I got some fresh shit. I got some fly shit, whatever. I got these Jordans on. I got you know what I'm saying? I got these Dunks on, whatever the case may be. Yo, we buying cheap. And it's crazy. You buying the cheap stuff from, we own it. I didn't want to say it. We own these shops buying this cheap stuff made with cheap materials, with cheap labor, right? We thinking we saving us $1, but you know what I'm saying? We hurting ourselves. You really costing yourself money in the end. You think you helping yourself because you buying stuff off of Amazon because it's a little bit cheaper. You know what I mean? Then you look up one day and don't nobody around you got jobs because every place had to close. All the mom and pop spot, they all had to close. The local hardware store had to close because Home Depot came in there, right? And there's a Home Depot every 4 miles. In my city. Home Depot's like liquor stores. Home Depot's like churches in my city. Home Depot's and Lowe's.
Same with Walmart.
Same with Walmart. Same with Target. I'm like, how many Target? Now, there are certain cities, because I'm in LA County. Santa Monica, no Target, no Walmart. Because those businesses, They said absolutely not. Absolutely not. You're not bringing that stuff here. That Fridays, there ain't no Fridays in Santa Monica. There ain't no Fridays out there. They got some chain spots. Don't get me wrong, but very few, very few. They keep it to a minimum. You go out there, you want to go hang out somewhere, you going to the bungalow. You going where, you know what I'm saying? Hey, that's original. It's two bungalows in all of California. That's it. It's owned by the same person. That's a private, you know what I mean? That's a local mom and pop shop. Hey, I know they making millions. I know. But that's a privately, a family owned business right there. That ain't some big corporation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I love the people that make millions. I hate the people that make billions.
I ain't got no problem with you making a million.
Yeah, $1 million, good for you. I'm happy to support $1 million. I got you all day on that.
Mm-hmm. The billionaires I don't rock with. You got $1 million, I'm all for you making $1 million. Get to it, because nowadays, what's $1 million? I'm 42. I was just talking about, I said I made $1 million in my lifetime. Not at once, but I made well over $1 million in my lifetime at 42, right? But so who am I? You know what I mean? Like, go make you $1 million. But I don't think people, because math is hard for a lot of people. People don't know how much $1 billion is. You know what I'm saying? $1 billion is 1,000 millions. Like, I don't know there's so many ways I've thought about $1 billion, and I've thought about like a billion, like a million seconds is like 2 months, and a billion seconds is like 15 years. You know what I'm saying? It's like, they're just completely different things. So yeah, $1 million in this economy, who cares? Get you $1 million. That's nothing. $1 million is nothing. All the homes me and my wife be looking at, this sound crazy. They $850 to $1 million. $850 to $1 million. Right? And $850, we know. We like, that's cheap. We probably gonna get a house for $850. We really thinking more like $950. We know we gonna end up probably in $1 million home. We know we are. We're about 90% sure that's what it's gonna be. That ain't nothing in Cali. That ain't nothing for our situation. That's nothing out here. But that $1 billion, hey man, you a hoarder. You selfish.
Yeah, the way I break that down is the Jeff Bezos, 190 something billion dollar worth. If you take half of his net worth, which is, right at I think at 93 or 94 billion, and you divide that in between every Amazon employee, everybody, 1.5 million people get a $65,000 bonus,
God.
and he still got half his money. He's still like 90 something billion. He's like the 15th richest person in the world, and everybody gets 65K.
Golly. Or we can do it in an equitable way. I would rather do it in an equitable way. I like this because I like that you brought that up. That's equality. Everybody gets $65,000. Even the guys that's making $1 million in the company, because there's a bunch of people.
Yeah, and the people that make 40K a year, they get 65K bonus too. Everybody.
I think the people making 45K should get 150,000. I think the people making over 150,000 should get a gift card.
Right. Well, so something I talk about a lot in business ethics like that is having the unions do this. Everybody knows what everybody else makes, first off. And then whoever's at the very, very top, you know what they make, and then everybody at the bottom, they know what they make. And that number should be some type of a fraction. Like, if you're only going to pay somebody 50K, then you should only be able to make 5 or 10 times K what they make. That's it. You should make 400% more.
Yeah.
Right? Because why are you trying to tell somebody that their job is not worth as 20 times what yours is worth?
I was about to say, what? That's crazy. I don't care what your job is in the company. If it didn't get done, I bet you the company couldn't function. I bet. Name a job. Name a task. Name a task in a company. Name a task and try to demean it. Try to diminish it. Right? Name it. You name it. Think about closure. Think about, I don't care. Typing up paperwork, filing stuff, taking care of the payroll, building things. I don't care what it is. Just think about the task. Think about the department and say, if that department wasn't there, could the company function? And if the answer is no, then how could it be that any other department, anybody in any sole person in the company is making 10, 15, 20, but in CEO's case in America, 300 times more than his poorest worker. Back in the day, it was 30 times more, right? In the 80s, 30 times more. Before Reagan said, let the bull loose, before he let the bull loose, right? On the stock market, before he did that, before he rang the bell, they was making 30 more tops. Now they're making 300 more than the lowest paid employee. That doesn't make sense, man. Go ahead, Sierra.
It's crazy, like, because so I'm an accountant by profession, and like most of my jobs have actually been in the construction industry.
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting that the other lady who came up, she worked in a correctional industry, because I always told people construction, you can sort of see modern day slavery like at its finest. But to your point, even when it came to doing my job, if I listened to senior management, I would actually do my job wrong. But if I wanted to actually know the details about the operations of the company or why certain things was happening or how I could prevent certain things from happening, I usually would have to speak to what people will call the low man on a totem pole, or like speak to the people, you know, actually doing the everyday work, the men and women who were actually on a job site, because they were the ones who had intimate knowledge about how and why the company was running the way it was running. But if I'm trying to like close out the books or like get a report done, and I'm listening to like what my boss is saying or what the director of like operations or sales is saying, they literally would never know like really what was going on. So it's crazy when you said that.
Yeah. What up, Tara?
Hey, how y'all doing? So I heard y'all talking. I just wanted to come up here and say one of those random facts that's in my head that I don't even know why I know. I know, but still. So it would take you 11 and a half days to count to a million if you count it nonstop. But to count to a billion would take 32 years.
That's what I was saying. See, it's so crazy, dude.
Yeah, so it's like it's I think a lot of times people think 10. That's probably why I don't know, but like
No,
yeah.
it's 1,000 millions. Yeah, it's 1,000 millions.
Yeah, you technically cannot even do it in your lifetime because you got to sleep, eat, and all that stuff. You can't do. You can't even count to a billion in your lifetime. And the fact that people got that much money is crazy.
Hundreds of billions. Steve Ballmer. I was talking about this. Is why I was talking about it yesterday when I was at the barbershop with my barber. We was talking about Steve Ballmer, and I was talking about how Steve Ballmer bought the Clippers with cash. He just had the money like liquid, like like when Jay-Z and them and Rihanna and especially like black people when black people say that they're billionaires, they're talking about like if they sold every single item that they have, everything, sold their wedding ring, sold, you know what I mean? Like Jay-Z cut his locks and sold them. Like they might crack a billion, right? They might crack a billion. It might be worth like 1.1. Okay, cool. Jeff Bezos, Steve Ballmer, when he bought the Clippers, I forget, he bought it for a few billy. Forget what it was, 4 or 5, something like that. He just wrote a check for it. Because he had the money. He didn't have to move the money around, y'all. He didn't have to sell nothing. He didn't have to sell a part of the Dodgers so he can have enough money to buy the Clippers. He literally just was like, oh yeah, I want to buy the Clippers. He won and then wrote them a check. And he's so rich that other billionaires were like, why do you have that much money just at your disposal? Like that doesn't make sense. But he was like, I got billions of dollars. Like, what are you talking about?
That's crazy because people are like unaliving early because of like working hard to pay bills, and these and this dude's got money just sitting in his account.
Billions, multiple billions. He just wrote a check and bought the team. He just bought the team with a check. Like when I read that story, I was floored. I was like, what? Because if you pay attention to like when people buy teams and they make big purchases like that, usually they got to do something beforehand to you know what I mean? They got to do. A lot of people don't know this. A lot of teams, oftentimes the teams are financed. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of teams be financed. You can go look up the story of McCourt, who bought the Dodgers. He was putting parts of the team on credit card. He put it apart on the credit card. I don't know how the hell they let him buy the Dodgers. He was broke.
He put it on credit.
He bought it on credit. It was it's the craziest story. And then if you look at how hard it was to get him out, because he was a leech, because he didn't have no money, and it was all a game to get money. That was all it was. He just wanted to. He was gonna get it. He ran the Dodgers into the ground, and then it was so weird, man, what he did. Like, I remember going through that in LA. I was like, what the hell is going on? But like, these people, it just goes to show how little we actually understand math. Because for a human being to say it makes sense for a person to have $1 billion blows my mind. I try to tell people all the time, there is no job, there's nothing you can do on this green earth that would justify you making $1 billion, let alone hundreds of billions of dollars. I don't care what you invented. I don't care what you invented. I don't care what company you run. There's nothing rational within rationally speaking that I can think of that would justify you making $1 billion. Nothing. I can't think of it. There's people with 169 billion, people with 58 billion. I'm like, what? And then but okay, I get them. They got the money. I get why they're holding on to it. Then you go talk to some broke mug that just got hit with 2 overdraft charges last month about it. They be like, oh, well, they earned it. Oh, see, you got it all wrong. You want to take their money away from them. Huh?
A lot of those people think they're gonna make it big one day. The amount of people think
they be a billionaire. They think
they're about to hit big with crypto. They like crypto about to be my next thing. I'm like, I don't think it just worked like that, bro. Like, I think you missed that train. But
that's the code. That's that also is a part of the code, because men are so addicted to the idea of having money, because they are so addicted to the idea that if I have money, I'll get girls. At the end of the day, I know this is gonna blow somebody's mind right now that's hearing this. Men are so woman-centered and so addicted to the idea of controlling women and having women as playthings. They have rationalized them being slaves of capitalism, all in hopes of one day having their own wife slave. That's all. That's what I'm saying. You cannot separate our addiction to capitalism. You can't separate it from the cult of man. It's all in the same vein, man. It's all right there. It's all right in front of you. If you track it. Go ahead, Jeff. Only women know that.
Yeah, I was just going to add to that. In my circles, I usually use the Taylor Swift example as the billionaire breakdown, because she did obtain $1 billion, and she donates a lot to charity, 50,000 here, 100,000 there, but that's not her money to deserve. To be honest with you, she paid everybody that helped her be successful a living wage. Then she wouldn't have $1 billion. She would still be wealthy.
Yeah.
Like we said, 5 million, 10 million, 20 million.
100 million.
But there's no reason to get to $1 billion, right? Everybody needs to be paid a living wage, and she's just paying the people that set the stage up. She's just paying what the current market is, which is undervalued.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to correct as a people, right? We have to make sure that we're running things. The people that are in those positions of power, which is the cult of man, we have to try to get more people that understand the equity side of it to pay people in a proper way, so we break down that barrier, right?
Facts.
But to his point, people, I feel like it's gonna be hard to get there, because people listen to the Donald Trumps of the world, and like the middle class YT man who likes Donald Trump thinks that he can pull himself up by his bootstraps and one day be Donald Trump. But Donald Trump doesn't admit to okay, but my bootstraps included my daddy writing me a check.
Fact.
Or my bootstraps included me taking advantage of tax laws and like, or
having lawyers, being able to go to Wharton Business School. But to any,
yeah.
so here's my question though to you. If we don't, whoever doesn't think that we can do this, if you don't think that we can do this, what is our solution? What's the end game then? What do we do? If it can't be done, if it's never going to happen, then what do we do?
That's a good question.
Seriously, because for me, I don't feel like we have a choice but to believe it can be done. Like, what is our alternative? You see what I'm saying? Like, I think that's the thing where I'm coming from. Like, I don't understand, like, because people say that to me all the time. Oh, I don't think that can happen, or I'm not so sure, and da 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 da. And I'm like, okay, but then what is the alternative then? Just to get at this point, you're saying give up.
I also don't think a lot of people realize it doesn't have to be everyone. When you
I
think
feel
about like
you.
some of the stuff we celebrate, like the Montgomery bus boycott, if you knew how many people was like, "Shit, I'm still taking the bus." I'm sorry, my bad. They was like, "I'm still taking the bus," and it still was successful. Like everybody's not going to participate. But just like if you had a disease and the doctor said, you know, this you got a chance, you still going to try to, even though it may not work, you still going to try that treatment because you know it's a chance. So if it's a chance, so like you don't give up. You don't say you're not gonna do anything, but it doesn't have to be everyone at the same time either. So yeah, it doesn't make sense to just be like not do anything because like at that point it's like like giving up is not the answer. I feel like
Yeah, that's all I be trying to understand because I hear that so often, like, oh, it can't be done or da 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 da, and I'm like, even if I wanted to believe it couldn't be done, even if I wanted to believe that, which I don't want to believe that because I know for a fact it can be, because like I said earlier, it always wasn't. So if it always wasn't, then that means it can go back to it not being that way, right? But even if I wanted to believe that, I'm like, okay, cool. Now what? Is that just the excuse for me to not care about anything anymore? Like, you know what I mean? Like, because at that point, I'm checking out. I don't know about y'all. I don't know about those people who think that it's like, where is your mind at once you have accepted that this is the way of the world and it's gonna just be like this forever in perpetuity? What do you do moving forward? Do you just shut down? Like, what do you do? Like that's the thing that I'm a little confused by that though, because I do get that a lot. I do hear that a lot, and I think, don't get me wrong, I think that it's coming from people who just want to shut the conversation down. They just want to go, it's never going to change, and I'm like, cool story, bro. Like, I don't know. I mean, that's you're fucking Captain Obvious. What up, Jeff?
Hey, yeah, I just want.
Right when you saying something. Iman's up here.
Well, to allude to another lie you have, I think as women, I guess we have to be careful with how we answer our question. Because I remember one lie where, like, I don't want to like put words in her mouth or anything, but one lady, she basically was like taking the posture of like, this is how men are. And as women, just go get the pum-pums because that's the only way to like deal with
Oh yeah, I remember that
society because they're not going to change. And she was really resistant to like everybody in the chat who was like, okay, girl, we hear you.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily think, we don't necessarily want to do that, but like, I think it could go either way. Like, either you become a person who just gives up, or like you could become a person that like creates another problem.
Facts.
I think it's another part of it too.
Wait, Tara, wait, real quick. Jeff was he was trying to go before and then his phone went out and then. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, I was just going to touch on that point that like time is going to pass no matter what. So, at what point are you going to stand by and just allow bad things? You acknowledge the bad things, but you don't want to work to change them. Just like Shenanigans was talking about Juneteenth and her work the other day. She single-handedly helped. She could have sat back and said, they're not going to listen anyway. Or she's going to work towards a goal and get it accomplished. And I spent a lot of time working with a man that was, He was 68 when I was 20 years old. His name was T.J. Ray, and he was born in a segregated South. And he taught me a lot about like just the generational change in between. Because at the time,
Appreciate you, James. They calling Jeff. He got the hookup. Go ahead.
just Mr. Ray was just telling me about different things that he wasn't allowed to do as a black man in Alabama. He couldn't do these things. And then he sees me interacting and doing things with other people like his grandson that he wasn't allowed to do. And it just shows the generational change that happens from people trying to make a difference. And if you don't want to be on the side of change, then that's okay, but don't actively try to break down the people that want the change, right?
Yep. Yeah. Get out the way. either help them or move around. Go ahead, Tara, and then I'm gonna get to Iman over here on the YouTubes.
Okay, I was just gonna say, yeah, we need to be appreciative of those who came before us and did the work so that we can benefit from it. And I think another thing people have to consider, like, it's possible, well, not possible, like it is not gonna happen in our lifetime, right? But just like somebody took a selfless act and they dedicated to do some type of change that we're benefiting from, we should play our part. That doesn't mean we're gonna be able to do it tomorrow, but we can do something to help alleviate the problem for those in the future.
Yep, that's facts. That's my whole approach. Like I say that all the time. I think that's where I got like kind of like that revolutionary kind of mindset to a certain extent, where I like I'm not afraid of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, who am I to be like, well, like I'm on some like if it gotta happen during my lifetime, it gotta happen during my lifetime because it was gonna happen during somebody's lifetime. You know what I'm saying? And it happened during our ancestors' lifetime too. You know what I mean? And they didn't get a choice. They didn't get to say like, "Well, I hope it don't happen here." Like they just did it. The funk popped off, and you know what I'm saying, and they met it. You know what I mean? So I don't be like wishing it doesn't happen or wishing it does. You know what I mean? Like I just want it to happen. I don't care when it happens. I don't care if it happens tomorrow. I want it to happen sooner than later. But I'm saying like I want to be here for it if I got to be here for it. If it's gonna take for the whole world to implode on itself and then so we can rebuild, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Like let's just get to it though. You know what I'm saying? Like we got to at some point we got to get to it because I am under the impression that like the clock is ticking. Like I think that's where I'm at with it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, hey, I don't know. We got to like something's got to give at some point, but you know, people not really interested in doing anything. Iman, go ahead. Iman, you there? Hold on, let me unmute you. Oh. All right. Well, we'll get back to Iman. I don't know what happened. Yeah, we here. Hey, everybody, we over 100,000 likes, though. I appreciate that. Thanks for the super sticker. Ooh, gotta read this one. Just here to listen for a while before speaking. Love your channel. Thanks, Iman. No problem. Appreciate you. Yeah. Public your cash app isn't showing for anyone. Oh, they hating? Hold on. It's showing on my end.
We don't see it. How you gonna ban the cash app if it ain't on the screen?
Right? Hold on. On my end, it's showing. They really don't let me. Y'all better stop playing with me, TikTok. Can y'all see it now?
Yeah.
It's there now? Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. They was really hating on me this whole time. Wow. Interesting. Okay. Because it was showing for me. Like I could see it on the screen the whole time. Wow.
TikTok needs to deconstruct a little bit.
A little bit, man. Hey man, I had to write him. I wrote him a lot. We wrote him a nice long letter last night. Let's put it like that. we went a little Karen on him. I went full blown Kyle on those people last night. I'm just waiting on the reply. We gonna see it. That's crazy. The hate is crazy. What did I do, TikTok? TikTok definitely my number one hater. I thought my number one hater was a man, but apparently it's the algorithm. It's a robot. I bet you the robot is a man though. I feel like the robot got a male voice. Fine. You sound like C3PO. That's what I think. But we good though. I appreciate y'all. Bang the cash app one time for your boy. Now that it's up there, shoot. Since y'all was looking for it, there you go. But yeah, we in here, man. I appreciate y'all. I was waiting on Iman to go, but y'all could go. I'm gonna go get something to drink real quick. I'll be right back. Actually.
All right, so how y'all doing? What am I talking about right now? Yeah, so men have the biggest thing men have do or patriarchy has done is gaslight the mess out of us, right? They done flipped everything around. So everything that men say that they do, essentially, the stereotypical thing, if you look close enough, is all stuff that women doing, right? Women been protecting and providing for families and children since the beginning of time. Men claim they build stuff. Women build stuff too. Like y'all gotta look this stuff up. Um, Men, I need y'all to stop appropriating our culture. I feel offended that y'all appropriate our culture. It's insensitive. We need to make a hashtag go viral about that. We're not going to tolerate that anymore. It's not cool, right? Yeah, appropriation not cool. Yeah, but they gaslight us. Men say they want submission from women, but yeah, they're the real submission ones. They the pick me's. Men out here, they ready to go to war to get picked. Like, how many women out here trying to go to war to get picked? That's crazy. That's real crazy. Men don't feel like they inherently got value. We see that all the time. That's why they think they got to earn all this money. Cause like y'all need to work on yourselves. Like you can't be broke with value. I got value if I'm broke. Apparently that's what he's been telling me since I was younger. Like once you have babies, then you got value. That's crazy. Stop. Let's stop the chores, okay? Let's stop saying you if men want women who can do chores. Like everybody should be able to do chores. That's crazy. That's not a flex. If a man say, "Oh, you can cook and can you cook and clean?" You walk the other way around, sir. That is crazy. That is diabolical in itself. Yeah, they try to get picked real bad. All right, I'm gonna go back on mute.
Damn, my back was so sweaty. The hell, shit that was cold. Um, felt like when I got up, the wind cooled down the sweat. So then when it touched my back again, that shit felt like felt like the little snowman pushed me in the back. I was like, wait, what you doing, Holmes?
You working? That's
You
why.
need a chair with circulation in it.
What'd you say, Terry?
You need a chair with circulation in it. That ain't right.
Hey man, don't shame my chair. My wife got me this chair. I love this chair. She got
No,
me.
no disrespect to the chair. Get you a mesh shirt. There you go. You can start wearing mesh shirts on your live.
This is a silk shirt.
Look, you
This
don't want
shirt.
over here sweating.
I know this shirt. Damn near. I got this shirt. This shirt from the '90s. This is a throw. This is
You need one of them
a
table
retro shirt from the
fans, little
'90s.
tiny fan or something.
I do need a fan. I got a big
Y'all,
fan in the room. I ain't pulled it. I'm not even hot right now. Just my lower back was sweating. I didn't even
I
know it.
don't know. Your forehead glistening. I think I see it now.
y'all free
Oh,
Publix clothes now. Yeah, free Publix clothes till they free.
they on my brain. They always judging me
Yeah,
for my
you
outfits, man.
you a
I'll
Soldier
be on
Boy
my
one
hair.
day, then you was Miami Vice the next day.
I'm on some Miami Vice shit. I dress like I'm in the '90s. I got my shit on. My shit from the '90s. My shirt. This shirt literally is from the '90s. I don't even know how it persevered. It made it through, and I'm wearing it today.
I think I saw that in the Miami Vice shirt episode. That's a nice shirt, though. It's a nice shirt.
They don't wear Guess in Miami Vice. They wearing like Versace. I don't even know what they wear. They might wear Guess. Miami Vice from the '80s, by the way. Y'all
Oh, I
tripping.
don't know. I'm old, but I ain't that old.
There you go. There y'all go, shaming us old people.
I ain't shaming nobody. I'm just saying I was actually justifying my ignorance on the topic. That's all.
I know. See what you was trying to do. Saying you was old, but you ain't that old. The shade is it's hot outside. And I needed to be y'all throwing enough shade though to protect your boy. So I appreciate that.
Look at Sean hating in the comments.
Who was hate? Oh, Sean, what Sean say?
What as usual.
Sean say blocker. Sean said blocker. Never. Tara, my girl. They can never make me hate her. That's crazy. But hey, man, Tiffany said the ageism is real. She said the ageism. Y'all always hitting me with that. But hey, I ain't gonna hold y'all. I'm finna get in the wind soon. Iman, I wanted you to go. Did you want to say something? Oh, I see you on Mike. There you go.
She went off.
Yeah, I'm here. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me up. So speaking of ageism, since we're talking about that, tell me why I was just watching your live about younger men shouldn't listen to older men.
Oh, that was a great live.
Oh my God.
That was a great. Hey, older men should listen to younger men. That was a great live. Or younger men should listen to older men. If y'all ain't watched that live, go on YouTube. I was listening to it the other night again. I was like, man, that was a good live.
Because I don't know what the topic is. I think it's just a free talk right now. But when I tell you the lack of critical thinking,
appreciate you, Deanna.
The lack of critical thinking is too damn high. It's too damn high. And the thing is, you don't gotta go to college to have critical thinking.
No, not at all.
Like my parents, I wasn't even born here, and my parents came here when they were proud 30s, 40s. They had the most better critical thinking than a lot of people I know that I went to college with. And I went to graduate school too, and still got better thinking than them.
Yep.
So school is not what gives you critical thinking. Not always. It's a nice little path to help you along the way for most people, but you don't need it. But it's just the lack of critical thinking, don't know how to analyze, can't observe, can't apply knowledge to a new topic that you're talking about. And it's just the willfully being so obtuse. You ask questions, public, and I swear to God, it would be the most clear-cut question I have ever heard in my life. And they'd be like, huh? Malfunctioning.
But they know the answer. That's why they be malfunctioning. Because they go, how can I lie?
Exactly. That's really the buffering. The buffering isn't because they need to figure out what you're asking. The buffering is, how can I manipulate this answer so that I can answer it my way and it still makes sense to people?
Yep.
Because with misogyny and with the patriarchy, there's a lot of manipulation. There's a lot of back work right into it, where you kind of have to do all this mental gymnastics, and you can't do that off the fly, especially if you're not that smart to begin with.
If you ain't that educated in something, it's gonna be tough, and that's why I like asking them questions, because the setup is we do this every day, right? And I'm in sales, and one of the key components about sales is that when you talking to a sales, like in our sales meetings, we talk about how we do this every day. The customer doesn't. So we have to know the answers. Like, we have to be comfortable. We got, this is like our space. Like, we don't come in there, we don't just take an order. We guide them. Don't let them guide you, right? Because it's better for everybody. Because they just wasting your time. Because they don't even know where they're going. They don't know where the car. They don't know where nothing is. You got to. So that's how, when I approach these situations, I'm like, we do this every day. We're doing the work every day. Now you get somebody in the space that don't even know what the work is. How you gonna let them dictate to you what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, it just, and when you ask them questions, their brains like just I'm like, what's going on?
They start malfunctioning. And the thing is, I noticed with a lot of the women here, like even with me, we don't even have a topic here, right? But I still came up, I was still listening, trying to figure out what's going on before I start speaking. They'll come in 3/4 of the way into the live and be like, what are we doing? What y'all talking about?
They know what we be talking about, though, by the way. They're not that dumb. And they be asking about the prompt. Man, I wish that live.
And it's behind you.
Man, that'd be the crazy.
It'd be in like bold yellow letters. Neon yellow. Like, I know you see the yellow.
You got me I'm getting anxiety right now thinking about it. it's easier for me to do it when I'm in the moment, but like thinking about it right now and I'm not there, I'm getting frustrated. I don't know why that is. When I'm in it, I'm kind of frustrated sometimes, but not really. But right now I'm getting frustrated. Because last night, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, like, I can see your frustration, and you really have a lot of patience because they will steer the conversation to somewhere other than the topic, and you will actually entertain it. Like, you'll be like entertaining whatever like thing that they're trying to bring up, and they're still not getting it. They're still not coming back to the prompt. They're still not like trying to talk about the topic, trying to understand it. It's just such a refusal of understanding. It's mind-boggling. It's really kind of it's concerning, to be honest.
It really, no, it is. Look, I know what it is. I know, I finally, I clocked it, right? It took a while. It took a lot of years, and it took a lot. I see what women be talking about. Like, I ain't gonna even hold you. Like, I really do. Like, I really see it. I was like, man. And I think that it's hard for a lot of men to understand my position because they are like, because I've heard men be like, ain't you a man? And I'm like, yeah, I'm a man. But brother, like try being me for a day. And then I bet you, like, do what I'm doing and do it for like 2 or 3 lives. Just, you ain't gotta do it for a whole day. Just do it for like 2 or 3 lives. There is no way in hell you gonna walk away from those lives not looking at men differently. Like, as a group. Like, there's no way, man. There's no, like, I'm like, damn, my wife, you say this about me all the time. You act like this. Okay. You start talking to somebody and you be like, damn, that was frustrating. How they just pivoted and never conceded and never, okay. That was just him. All right, next.
And yeah, I was going to say in that live, it was like, then they wonder why people don't want to talk to them.
Then they wonder why people don't want to talk to them.
And then they wonder why the old men get bitter when they're alone, because nobody wants to be around your miserable self.
Didn't I put that in the prompt? And they were like asking me, what did I think about it? And I was like,
we have hardships. We go through so much. Everybody goes through so much. This is a thing called life. Life. Life.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard.
It don't gotta be, though. That'd be my point. It don't gotta be this hard. We be making it hard. We be making it really hard.
They be making it harder than it should be.
Yes.
Because they're mad that, they're, bitter, old, whatever. But you weren't there for your kids. You weren't there for your wife. You weren't there for your family. And then they get older and realize it. And now they don't want to be around you. And now you're mad.
Yeah. That's exactly what happens.
Why is it hard to understand that's the outcome? I could have predicted that for you.
We all can. That's what I be telling them. I'm like, don't be that guy. You want to be that guy? Okay, be that guy. But you don't got to be that person, man. Like, they're not, like, I don't know what y'all think. People will eventually leave you. No doubt about it. They will eventually walk away from you if you're toxic enough.
Especially this generation. Generation Z?
Yeah, they leave
don't play. They do not play. I'm a millennial, and we don't even play, but they really don't play. You mess with them, you do them wrong 1 or 2 times, they're like, oh, I see you, and they'll never turn back.
Oh, for those of y'all, I feel like I got to tell this story every now and again. I don't talk to my dad. That man, I was just talking to my son about it the other day. I'll tell him about it today. Matter of fact, a video, something in his video came up, and he was watching like a YouTube thing, and it was like, it was just like a cartoon. He was like, I punish fathers when they abandon their sons. It was like in a random cartoon. That was a line. I was like, yeah, definitely, like something. And I made some comment about like abandon. I was like, yeah, you never abandon your kids or something like that. And then my son was like, of course not, or And then I was like, well, I was abandoned. And then he was like, no, you weren't. And I was like, I was abandoned. And then he was like, really? And I said, yeah. And I asked him, I said, do you see my father here now? And then he was like, no. And I was like, have you ever met my dad? He was like, no. And I was like, that's because I was abandoned. And then he was like, oh. He was like, oh, it like, he was like, oh, wow. I was like, yeah. And then I asked him just to, because he's 8 years old. And I was like, you know what abandon means, right? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, I need to tell me what it was. And I was like, okay.
So, I think what it really comes from is men have had, since the beginning of time, the ability to do people and things wrong and still get what they want.
Mm-hmm.
At the end. They don't, the consequences have been very minimal to none from their bad behavior. So now they're mad that there's consequences. And it's like, things have changed, and sorry.
You wasn't in the live earlier. I was in the live earlier, and this dude said his father used to tell him, only women and children
are loved.
Something like that, but it was
unconditionally. Yeah.
It wasn't even that though. It was like they don't get judged or something like that, or they only women and children can make mistakes. That's what he said. And I was like, huh?
Oh wow.
I was like, what?
Wow.
Crazy.
Right.
Crazy.
There's not a group of people that can make more mistakes and be forgiven more than men.
Not be held accountable. Not necessarily be forgiven, but not be held accountable.
Held accountable, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Crazy. Like I said earlier, it'd be the opposite of the truth. It'd be the opposite of the, like, it don't even be like, that's okay. There's some, it's literally like the opposite of the truth. It's a 180. Like, man.
And sorry, one more thing I was going to say, I have to say, the same live, what you were trying to get across was coming to a common understanding of what our reality is. Mm-hmm. Like, y'all were talking about stop sign, and some guy was talking about, yeah, my son, he ran a stop sign, and the cops saw him, and he didn't get pulled over, so he thinks he can run stop sign. That's his reality. What?
That was a tough one. I should clip that part up, because that was so dumb.
Oh, my God. I almost had an aneurysm.
That was such a bad analogy. Man, yeah. We need the ops in here now. Now y'all got, I was liking the little chill live. Now I need the ops. I ain't gonna hold you. Because that was crazy.
I came up here to be messy, public.
Go ahead.
I don't know if it's too early in the afternoon on a Saturday morning to be messy. But if you would like a good kiki, a hypocritical kiki, Tara, Jeff, public, everybody else, if you have not yet to see what I posted in the Discord, please take a gander in the Discord for a quick hypocritical red pill kiki.
Can you give us the cliff notes? Because I can't look at it right now. What is it?
It's a certain red pill man's woman. A red pill man who's always talking about how women look and how they back big and titties be sagging to the floor.
I already know where this going.
Yeah. It's his woman. Go take a gander at his woman. I found her. And yeah, I
see why it is all outside.
Oh yeah. And titties hanging all the way to the floor.
I ain't gonna body shame that woman because she don't deserve it.
I'm not body shaming her.
I'm not saying you are. I'm saying I'm not
with age, you know, she's a woman who looks her age, and I'm proud of her. But you know, your man, she was sitting right next to him while he was talking crap, and you can't be, you know, you gotta tell him to calm down because now you on the internet catching random strays.
Hold on, wait, you said something there though. I can't. Yeah, shit. You should have said something. You see something, say something. You ain't supposed to just be sitting back letting your man wild out like that. But they
be doing that, like that one guy who was talking about, I take care of my woman, I have businesses, I have this, I have that, while she was the one that was running everything.
Hey, hold on. Have y'all seen Game Bread on the internet since he was on my live? Because I haven't. I've been looking for him.
I be watching your lives, public. I be having to post.
You clocking it right now, Iman. Hold on. Did y'all see? Have you guys? Oh, you seen him once? I haven't seen him. I've been looking for him. I haven't seen this. I should have tagged him in the
He
video.
got you blocked.
He do?
I don't know.
Oh, I was like, nah, ain't no way that man got me blocked. Ain't no way. Hey.
His poor wife, who was so nice, was catching strays because of him. And she was still trying to call him out, but she was still catching strays. Because she was like, but he's a good man.
She kind of deserved some of them was direct hits, and they was she kind of deserved some of them. That's all I'm gonna say. She deserved some of them hits. But yeah, she was catching a lot of strays early. I was like, damn, this shit crazy. But yeah, when she got up there, she started, he's a good guy. And I'm sitting there like, do you hear what he's saying? No, I don't know if a good guy would say this type of stuff. A
good man will not make you look so, what's the word I'm looking for? Not so
useless?
Smart. Yeah, useless and just, just like aloof and just moving on in life and not really doing anything. Just like.
Whole time, she the dang mastermind. What up, Dante?
Over here talking about, he does this sometimes and I let him do it. He's not a child.
Lynn, hold on. Was the who was the person? The man you was describing right now. Was he in Franklin's live earlier?
Yes, he was in Franklin's live earlier, and I politely let him know, don't come for me unless your woman looks better than me, and she, in fact, does not look better than me, and she does not have a better body than me. So he better keep my mother freaking name out of his mouth. And
can y'all answer me a question? Anybody up here, y'all can take a shot at it. I'm just out of curiosity. Anybody in the chat, don't mind. Is it just me, or does everything red pill, is it all rooted in projection?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I think that he's angry. These men are angry because they get the women that they deserve, that they talk about on the internet, bragging and talking about, oh, I wouldn't date this, I wouldn't date that, like, and this is the type of women I got and I want, and this and that. You got the woman you deserve, and now you mad. You mad at the other women on TikTok. And you want to take it out on us because you ended up with the pick me that you didn't want in the first place. So
choose
now
better?
you mad. Yeah, they need to choose better. They need to be better first so that they're able to choose better.
Because these women are good women. Like,
y'all hypocritical, and they lie to y'all. They lie to these
on.
young men on TikTok. They lie and try to make it seem like they out here catching the baddies with this rhetoric. And if only y'all see the women that they sleep next to, you would know.
This is how I be feeling. And you say stay good women. I get judged a lot of times for my wife, which is weird. But like as a human being, like as a person, I would put my wife up against anybody, right? Like ethics or whatever, I put her ethics up against anybody's on the planet. Don't care. She never lied to me. She never mistreated me. She never done, nothing. Don't mean she perfect, but she ain't never did nothing to hurt me. You know what I'm saying? She's yelled at me. Probably sometimes she probably hurt my feelings, whatever. But she ain't never done, you know what I mean? Like she ain't never like intentionally tried to hurt me or deceive me or anything like that. And I've never seen her do that to anybody else, right? Just for an example. And I've always thought it was odd that you don't judge the character of the person that somebody is. Like, I think it's odd when you don't judge the character of the person that an individual is with. You know what I'm saying? I think that's odd. Like, to me, there's no way Melania Trump could be a good person. There's no way. It's impossible. She might not be as bad as Trump, don't get me wrong. But you let that man run amok for 30 years.
Probably worse.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe worse, but for 25, 30, there's no way. You are like, I'm definitely going to judge you based on the character of the person you're with. I don't care what they physically look like. Couldn't care less. The only time I'm going to bring that up is like Lynn is saying, if you coming after my wife or me or whatever for my looks or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Now you bring looks into play. Now it's like, bro, let's keep it a bean, bro. Like Lynn's saying, y'all just mad because you can't find a functioning adult, a functioning physically attractive woman, because what functioning physically attractive woman would be with you? Because every option is better than you.
Yeah, and she's just as red pill, just as pick me as him.
That's what I'm.
So he ended up with the woman that he deserved.
Exactly. That's what I was getting at.
That's all I'm gonna leave it at. I ain't gonna go too in on that lady. But he ended up with the woman he deserved. I hope they live happily ever after. And ma'am, I really hope to
I hope they live in misery.
They will. They already miserable. When you hate other people that much, you gotta be a miserable human being. Cause
I
why
hope
he
so.
on the internet talking about other women and their bodies and all this kind of stuff, and you just sitting there kikiing with him like that's cute. I'll be side eyeing my man in disgust. We in the car, we at breakfast, and you on TikTok live while me and you is at breakfast. Like that's just wild to me. And you ain't even on your life because you ain't making no monies. Because if he was making monies, like then baby, we sitting here, we eating breakfast together. What you need me to do to generate some more? You need me to get on my fake in the comments so we can generate some more money to pay for this breakfast so you can pay for my nails. No, but he's not even generating no money. He on live having conversation with other people when he's supposed to be paying attention to you. Y'all supposed to be having a conversation. But he don't like you, man. He don't like you.
Damn.
I think what I was talking about was, I think probably you had talked about a live where you were like, yeah, most men don't have to pick better because most times any woman that they pick is probably a decent person.
Definitely better than them.
Or at least better than them.
Definitely better than them.
So, right. And so when they're complaining about all these like red pill stuff, whatever, it really comes down to attractiveness,
physical attractiveness,
sex, and really access to women. That's their real issue. Access to attractive women, because the women in their lives are just as good, if not better.
Yep.
Can't my statement. They are actually on vacation together, and he is on TikTok live with other people. He hates you that much that he on vacation on TikTok live with other people.
I gotta tell y'all something. That's funny, because last night, because I'm going on vacation in 2 weeks, right? I got 2 vacations in July, but I'm going on vacation. My first one I'm going on in 2 weeks, and I was talking to my wife, and I said, because it's for like 4 days. I was like, so am I going live or? And she was like, you can go live one day, and I was like, okay, which means I'm probably not gonna go live because I don't really care. I just was wondering if I should go live. I was kind of like floating it by her, and she was like, you can go live one day, and I was like, okay, like we on vacation, fool. Like, what are you doing? But you know what I'm saying. Like, I actually, I make money on my page or whatever. Like, I couldn't imagine being on vacation and yapping for free. It just
also,
actually,
but shout out to your wife.
What happened?
Oh, sorry. I would say actually I want to take back my yes, because I feel like the word projection implies like it's like what they're actually experiencing in real life. To me, it's I don't want to use the word fantasy, but there's this element of like not real life, because they're very like extremists. So like on the one hand, if a woman has children but she's not married, they want to paint that image of a woman as like
the norm.
Not even norm, but like she's like this detriment to society.
Oh yeah.
But like their 666 equivalent is like this IG baddie with,
submissive.
Like, yeah, with like a church girl mentality. And it's like usually the IG baddie is not the woman that's like even gonna listen to them spew their nonsense.
Why would she?
So yeah. So I can't fully say it's projection. Some of it is just like this made up thing in their head, and I don't know where it's coming from, because then the ones who are partnered, their partner is usually some percentage of the woman that they're speaking against. It's awkward.
I will say this. The reason why I say it's projection is because he can't stand overweight women. He talks badly about, he's always trying to shame overweight women. Lo and behold, come to find out, he has an overweight woman as his girl. That's why it's projection. That's why it's projection. He is living that life. It's his life. He was talking about himself this whole time. Come to find out, he was talking about himself. That's all I be saying. That's all I'm saying. Like
talking about themselves. They're not in touch with reality. It's only their reality.
Yeah, their perception. It's just really crazy. How many times, and here's what I'm saying, y'all. Here's how it's projection. They tell me they've been trying to get me on this since I started on this app having these conversations. Oh, the reason why you don't like men is because you weren't raised with a father. And I tell them, first of all, I do like men. No diddy. I love men. That's why I'm doing what I do. You think I'm doing this because of my contempt for men? No, it's the opposite. Because I care about men, right? I have sons. I have 2 men. I'm raising 2 sons. What are y'all talking about? Why? Why would I dislike all? It doesn't make any sense. I'm a man. My brother's a man. I love men. Like men is my, you know what I'm saying? Like I love because I love humans. It ain't about loving men or women. I love humans, right? So, but they try to put that jacket on me all the time because they project. So they think the only reason why I feel the way that I feel is because I'm projecting. That's another form of projection. You see what I'm saying? They think the only reason I feel the way that I feel must be because I'm projecting. Why do they think I'm projecting? Because they're projecting. So they're like, everybody must project because I'm projecting. It's psychotic. It's sick. I don't get it. I'm like, how many times are y'all spots gonna get blown up? How many times are y'all gonna get exposed to be hypocrites while pointing the finger and calling everybody else a hypocrite? Everybody else is a hypocrite. Come to find out,
critically, if they don't have common sense,
are they what?
Like beyond, like, do you think a person can think critically if they don't have common sense? Like, even if we don't entertain a conversation about higher education, like,
I kind of don't believe in the concept of common sense, but I know what you mean. I just, because what's common to you and I isn't common to them. So, and it's regional and it's age and it's blah, 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 blah.
It's the projection inception Olympics.
For 100%. That was a great way to put it. Yes, you can have critical thinking without having common sense though, because common sense is like a collective social understanding. That's what it's really, that's what it's really saying. Like an objective truth, right? Objectively speaking, yada, 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 yada. That's common sense. Critical thinking is, here's some information. How do I critique this information? How do I vet this information and find out if this information is actually viable or not? If it's actually accurate. That's more what critical thinking is rooted in, right? So yeah, you cannot have common sense and think critically. You know what I'm saying? And there's other, you know what I mean? It's kind of, critical thinking is kind of like intelligence in a way. Like there's different forms of intelligence. It's not just like one form of intelligence. It doesn't only show up one way. There's spatial awareness. That's a form of intelligence. You got people, people who are have just like an inclination for building things or whatever. You know what I mean? Like there's just all different types of intelligence. Like, I don't know. And I feel like kind of like that's how critical thinking shows up. But I was talking to somebody, they were saying like in combat, you have to think critically in combat. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a part of thinking critically. You have to process the information. You have to determine if it's good information, if it's bad information. Like you have to think critically. It's literally life and death, right? So I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's a different form of critical thinking. And those people in other areas they don't think critically though. In other areas, they don't. But in combat, they do. But in real life, they won't. Politically, they won't. You know what I mean? Socially, they won't. But in combat, absolutely. War times, absolutely. Critical thinking's off the chart. So, yeah, you could lack common sense and be a good, decent critical thinker for sure. But the best critical thinkers, of course, be people with common sense and critical thinking ability. Obviously, right? You know what I'm saying? If you can combine those two things. Hey, on the YouTubes, my screen is frozen. It looks like. Is that correct? Oh, yeah, my screen is frozen on YouTube, the whole thing. My screen, my app freezes once every show, once every live. But hey, go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, I was just going to add a little bit to that on the critical thinking part. I think that anger and upset is some of our first emotions that we learn as a child, and we never really conditioned to learn past that as a man, right? Because we get what we want with that.
Mm-hmm.
So that being the case, like we think that being angry is enough emotion to get there, and that's why the emotions are real strong most of the time. Is because we can't work through those and pass that logic. So all of those go into our critical thinking skills, right? And as soon as we can, and that's why I think that you and I have a common connection on that, because we didn't have that basically angry father inside the home, right? So like we had to work through things, with a single mother mentality. And that being the case, we got to a place of understanding without expressing anger only towards situations, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And that's what
my mom wasn't quick to anger, that's for sure. She wasn't that. She never, you know what I mean? She didn't pass that on to me. Like, that's how you handle your problems. Or it was never that. My dad, and actually my dad isn't like neither my mother nor my father, neither of their natural dispositions are like angry people. You know what I mean? So, even biologically, I feel like that was, like kind of like gonna be my disposition no matter what. But my environment, you know what I mean, and the times are definitely that contributed to me being angry and
the
violent, all
cult
that
of
stuff.
man.
The cult of man, yeah, all
The,
that stuff
the
definitely got to me eventually. But it wasn't like
right.
you're saying, I didn't have that like strong patriarchal presence to like hammer it home and you know what I mean, and just make it 10 times worse and
Yeah,
stronger.
and I also think that helps hold up the cult of man when anger is the common thing. And just like we were talking about before, with like the different people in the background, they have a discern and a hate towards women, and that all bonds them together, right? It's not that it's like I said, like if you like basketball and somebody else likes basketball, y'all can talk. Okay, but most men have this disdain towards women, so therefore that's the common denominator. Just like we was talking about with the jail earlier. Okay, well we're gonna hate on these women over here. That's what's gonna bring us closer together, to have a bond, to have a friendship. And if that's all your friendship is, then my lord, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
The last
Fact.
thing I want to be an old man so bad, but the last thing I want to do is be a bitter old man.
That's for sure.
Yeah,
Hey man, if I'm gonna be a bitter old man, I might as well not even be here. That don't seem
right.
fun. That
Yeah.
not fun.
Right, and so like I mean I've been around bitter old men, and I think that a lot of the times the cult of man got them there because they preach that get money, work. This is take care of your family, make sure you got a roof and a ride for your family. That's you being successful, right?
Yep.
But when 65 comes around and you haven't worked on yourself anymore and you don't have any deep relationships, then you're all of a sudden bitter at everybody because you don't have a work connection anymore. Your buddies don't hang out with you anymore, the whole 9 yards. So we have to work on that change, and that's going to dismantle the cult of man.
Who was trying to argue about Congress being 50-50. It's like he said the quiet part out loud when he said, like, you could give me the facts, I'm still not going to accept it. It's like, what is that? Like
yeah, public. I think you had said to them, okay, so what if I gave you information that was 100% true,
yeah,
and contrary to what you said? What would you think about that? It wouldn't make a difference. So what we here for?
Hey, do y'all know that dude? I never told y'all because I don't be talking, and I don't be checking my like those like the like the messages that aren't from people. Do y'all know that dude DM'd me and said that he was wrong about that?
Wow. Wow.
So good. Now it's an ego thing, because now it's I couldn't conceive the point on why.
That's the cult of man large at work, because he couldn't admit it in front of everybody, but he'll slide you on the DL and be like, "Hey man, my bad."
He said
hey,
he tried to.
Are you the blue collar guy?
Yeah.
I I remember that live, man. That was a crazy live.
That's Jeff. He hit me in the DMs. He said that, and I was like, what? I was like, why didn't you just? But we could have just. You know what, man? Never mind. Y'all got it, bro. Y'all got it, bro. Like I don't know what y'all. What do y'all want, man? How do you want me to give you? How do y'all want me to give you the information? That's what I'm trying to figure out because they be saying they want me to change up. They like, oh, you too mean. You don't validate. I'm like, all right. I'm talking to a dude yesterday. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. It might have been yesterday. It was either yesterday or the day before. And he started to tell me his personal story. And I said, sir, please don't tell me your personal story. Because I don't want to talk about your like it's irrelevant to what we're talking about right now, first and foremost. Second of all, whatever I say, it ain't gonna be the right thing. Because I'm a question, like I already know how this is gonna go. Oh, no. He circled back to his sir, I don't want to hear your personal story. Let's leave. Then finally he tells his personal story and we start digging in. And then he gets mad. And I was like, this is exactly why I didn't want you to talk about your personal story, bro. Like, y'all got it. Like, if you don't want me to invalidate your experience, stop telling us. Because if I'm going to question you, I'm sorry I am. I'm going to question you about it. Look, I know this going to be sick. It's going to come off as sick. And I don't even care because it is what it is at this point. I've had men come on the platform and start to tell us about them being SA'd as children, right? Under normal circumstances, of course, I'm listening to that story. Of course, I want to hear that. I mean, I don't say I want to, but of course, I'm interested, right? I want you to get that off your chest. No doubt about it. My problem is when y'all choose to bring it up. My problem is why you choose to bring it up. So if you bring it, it's the same. It's so crazy, though, that those same men will say women use things that they use our vulnerabilities against us. And then when you talk to them, what you find out is what happens is the women bring up things that is personal about them in an argument to show them that they're, you know what I'm saying, like why they're acting the way they're acting, right? And they get all bent out of shape. I am a man that has done that many times, right? So the ego gets there. Oh man, I told you my daddy left me in confidence. You ain't got to use it against me, blah, 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 blah. I'm just saying the reason you're so afraid of me leaving is because you have abandonment issues. Oh, no, you use my vulnerabilities against me. Fine. Y'all will, in that moment, you understand that, though. You get that concept of like, why are you bringing it up during an argument? It's almost always going to come across, you know what I'm saying? It's almost never going to be taken correctly in that moment, right? So when we're up here talking about DV of women, we're up here talking about SA, women getting SA, the children, you know, whatever. And you up here, oh well, you know, you can't believe all these victims is some of them telling the truth. Some of the dudes telling the truth. Some of these victims is lying. You doing that, and then you lead us to a point to where we start pressing you, and then to get us off of your back, or this is how it feels to me. You go, I was SA when I was 3 years old. By I was SA when I was 9 years old by a 9-year-old, and sir. I'm not saying it didn't happen. All I'm saying is, excuse me if I pull out the smallest violin in the world and play it for you. Because what? How, if you cared about the victims, if you are a victim, why do you not care about the victims? That's the thing that be blowing me. I'm like, okay, wait, so you mean to tell me you were SA'd, but then when we're talking about believing the victims, you up here talking about we shouldn't believe them? Excuse me if I don't believe. Excuse me if I don't believe you. I'm sorry. Like what? That happens so often, and I for the life of me, I'm like they must think that they think that we're dumb, and then though they'll take that, turn it around, and be like, public don't validate my experience. Public didn't validate my feelings. And I'm like, I mean, you left me no choice. You left me no choice, brother. I really wanted to. Now, I will, just for anybody listening that wants to do this, I will host a whole live for men that are DV survivors and SA survivors, and y'all can talk. We will talk about it. We can air it out if you want to. I don't want to make you talk about it, but if you want to, I will hold the space. Right? But I'm 100%, I'm 90% sure it's going to be 15 people in there, and 14 of them going to be women.
But public, I feel like women have been dealing with this for a long time when men won't bring up issues that they have with them or with life or whatever. But when she wants to bring up something that she's concerned about, all of a sudden this happened to him too. All of a sudden,
but what about me?
But what about me? It's using it as a weapon and as a way to get pity, but more so as a weapon to invalidate
to shut everything
your
down.
feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your issues. The same way that white people, you'd be like, oh, as black people, we face racism. We face.
Me too. We're oppressed too.
I've been discriminated against. I didn't get jobs. I didn't. But they just want to continue the system.
We're all immigrants
that they benefit from.
They be all live mattering everything, man. I be like, what is going on in here, man? Like, come on, y'all. Like, I'm sorry. Like, y'all really, it's almost genius. I ain't gonna hold y'all. It's almost genius if I didn't understand gaslighting tactics as well as I do. It's almost genius. You almost got away with it. You almost got away with it. But I ain't gonna hold y'all. My wife be yelling at me. My wife be clock. She be telling me I'm mean. She be telling me I need to. I'm not going to. My wife be telling me I need to take a different approach. And I'm going to take a different approach. What up, Virtue?
Shout out to your wife. I want to be your wife when I grow up.
You want to grow up to be here? She's a good lady. She's a good lady. Yeah, she's a good person. Hey, man, hold on real quick. 133,000 likes. I love it. Let me, we got 200, It is what it is, man. They suppressing your boy. It's all good, but we cracking on the YouTubes. I appreciate everybody rocking out with us on the YouTubes. Appreciate everybody in the chat. The ops ain't coming, and I am hopeful. Who is hopeful?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say 2 people said they wanted to come. I didn't know.
Oh, I ain't even see. I just seen one. Okay, there we go. We got everybody. We got a full house now. We got 4 people over here on the YouTubes. Go ahead. Who was it? Demia? Go ahead, Demia, and then go ahead, Hopeful.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, public and everybody. I just wanted to let you know, public, that I found you like 2 to 3, maybe 2.5, 2 to 3 months ago. And do I tell you that you blew my head back with how intelligent you are and the things that you talk about. And I just wanted to get up here and let you know that I watch you almost every time that you go live, because I love your topics that you expound on. You keep me very entertained while I'm at work because I drive.
Are you not entertained?
Very entertained. Very. Yes, I drive for work every day, and when I'm going on my routes delivering my automobile parts, I listen to you. And also, I had just quit dating this guy because I've been by myself for 8 years, and then I just tried to date. But after a little bit shy of 60 days, I realized how extra and crazy he was. So we ended, but I would play your lives when I would allow him to come over. And when he jumped up one day and was like, I don't like him. And I was like, why not? And he was like, I feel like I just don't like the stuff that he be saying. He seemed like he always man bashing. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, nah. It's a done daughter for you because you're not processing that right. So
that's crazy.
Needless to say, we ended up breaking up, not only because of that, but because I've seen a lot of things, him not being able to control his anger. I feel like he hates women. He had a very bad relationship with his mother, but needless to say, me listening to you, which a lot of the things that you say are things that I already think and feel. So when I found you, it was like, oh, okay, I found, a man that actually, shares a lot of my same sentiments. And it was just a breath of fresh air. So that's all I wanted to say. I just want to let you know I am one of your loyal, faithful YouTube subscribers. And I want to join a Discord. I need to figure out how. And I was also trying to tell you to do a Patreon. I feel like you should still go live, but go live on YouTube because I feel like TikTok is too restricting and too extra. And I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm just giving you some.
No, I feel it. Yeah, I be saying, hey man, that's how I found StreamYard. I was talking online about doing it, and somebody was like, you should try StreamYard. And I was like, okay. And I tried, and I was like, damn, I love StreamYard. I should have been using this. So yeah, I appreciate
because,
it.
you know what? A lot of times I can't hear your callers a lot of the times, and I don't know like what you're using.
I got it.
But
I don't want to say it's. I'm not gonna say it's ghetto, but it's ghetto. That's all I'm gonna say. I ain't gonna say it's ghetto, but it's ghetto. The setup is wild.
Like when you do it on YouTube, you should use StreamYard because everybody can come in, use that link, and they can sound loud and clear.
Yep.
And I don't have I don't have TikTok. I can't really stand TikTok. I only have Instagram and YouTube. I don't have Facebook or anything like that. Okay. But as soon as I found you on YouTube, and you hit that like button, I said, I wish I could like this damn thing 50-11 times.
50-11. Hey, we're gonna keep it coming though. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna try to get some ops in here one of these days. They've been in here a lot, but today I got my main account banned, so y'all know we on the backup, and they don't push me. A part of me want to end the live and start over again on TikTok and then see if I could. I don't know. I might have to do that actually. I might actually restart the live. I think that seems like a good idea for me right now if I'm gonna continue to go live. I was gonna go somewhere. Yeah, I'm gonna push through.
I would like to say before I go, I know you live somewhere else. I live in the Midwest. I live in Indiana, and if you ever need information about, because I be listening to when the people talk about like child support stuff and.
How the courts work and stuff like that. Yeah,
it's so easy here. What I will tell you is that like maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, I did like my own experiment. Like I asked like, I think it was around. I think I did 56. I think it was. I'm gonna have to find one of my old notebooks. But I like analyzing people, and because I use like certain things that happen or certain people's stories as like psychology lessons, to learn when I hear people talk. And one thing I will say here is that I noticed that a lot of when you were talking about the men talking about fighting for their kids and going to court and stuff like that, I will say that I had noticed that a lot of males here in the Midwest and just here in my state, they lie a lot. They lie a lot, and they say stuff like, "Oh, she's trying to keep me from my kids." And you know what? I started doing research on that because I have 2 adult children. I have a 22 and a 24-year-old, and both of my kids' dads did not help me raise my kids at all. They refused. And one thing that I would notice is that they would go around and tell other people, because it would get back to me. They would tell other people, she won't let me see my son or my daughter, when really they weren't trying. And every time that I would ask them to help with, birthday, money for birthdays or school supplies, school clothing and things like that, they would resist me so hard, and they would actually get mad at me when I would ask them to help with their children. But I noticed that though the men who do that, who refuse to take care of their children or spend time with them or have anything to do with them, I would notice that those are the ones, because they're not just going to go to other people and be like, hey, I don't want to take care of my kids. They're not going to say that. So what they're going to do is try to blame the mom. And there was never no trying. And you know what? After years of asking, I think I would ask until my kids got 3 or 4. After that, I just quit asking because they would never help me. They would never do anything. And I noticed a lot of men who say that, oh, she's keeping me from my kids. ladies, that's a red flag. Those are the men who are willfully, and they standing on it. They refuse to interact with their kids, and they act like they cannot stand their kids' moms, because my kids' dads acted like they couldn't stand me. It was cool before I got pregnant, but when I had their kids, they couldn't stand me, and they refused to help with their kids, and they would go around and lie on me and tell people. And I noticed a lot of males do that. Mm-hmm. They go around and lie because they don't want the responsibility of being a father.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to add that in there, that to be careful with that, because a lot of the times when men say that, it's really actually them that don't want to be the father. It's not the woman. She's not doing anything.
Oh yeah, you ain't gotta tell me. I already know. I know these dudes. I already know they be lying all the time about that. I didn't want to get on. That's a whole. I can talk about the fake.
Whole other thing.
Fake alienation claims. I can talk about that all day.
Yeah. And then here in Indiana, you could just petition the court. It doesn't cost anything. Like if you feel like, you're not able to see your kid, or the mom not acting right, or she is quote unquote trying to hold the kid from you, all you have to do is contact the prosecuting attorney's office to give them your name and a baby mama name and your child name, and they will make a court date for you. It's all free. But I had started to notice, like when I talk to dudes and I would ask them, hey, did you try to go to court? Because it's free. She won't let me see it, and then it turned into, oh, well, no, I ain't even try, because they ain't going to give them to me.
Yeah. They start buying into the lies.
You didn't even try. It's free. And then when I would say that it's free, because they would be like, oh, I don't have money to get a lawyer. And it's like, well, here you don't need no money to get a lawyer. You could just request to petition a court, and they will give you a court date, and you will be able to go and talk to a judge about that and set up parenting and visitation.
Yeah.
Quiet. It's so quiet when I say that, and you can hear a mouse piss on cotton. They so damn quiet. Because they in their mind trying to figure out a way they can argue back with me. But you can't argue back, because the fact remains is that you just simply didn't try, and you don't want the responsibility.
That's right.
You didn't even try.
Yep. Hey, who is this? Demia? This is Demia, right? I can't see.
Yep, I'm Demia.
I can't see y'all names right now. Oh, there it goes. Okay, cool. Hey, Demia, I appreciate you coming up. I'm just so everybody knows, I'm gonna stay on YouTube. I'm gonna restart the live on TikTok real quick. I don't need to restart it on YouTube. I'm gonna change the prompt, by the way, because I did change the prompt on YouTube.
Okay, how can we get the Discord link though? I'm still trying to figure that out.
Oh, that's in my bio on YouTube.
It is? Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm gonna have to go look.
Yeah, click the what's it called? The LinkedIn link tree or whatever. Click the link tree, and then it's in there. You just gotta copy and paste it, and then put it.
Okay, I surely will. Cool. Thanks, public. Thanks, everybody. I'll be watching.
Okay, we'll see you in the Discord. All right, real quick. Hey, y'all. Yeah, y'all heard what it is. I gotta do it. I gotta do this, and I be bite.